Next on Saratoga Live, it's Fabulous Fillies Day at the Spawn. Pink Twist is the perfect hunch play. After winning her debut sprinting, can she stretch out and win at 2 turns? The Statue of Liberty, her feature race, Goodbye Broccoli, seeks her 3rd turf victory. She's reunited with the rider who last won when he was aboard. And Creasy has had a familiar pattern of late, winning every other start. If that continues, she's right on schedule for another trip to the winner's circle this afternoon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Saratoga Live on this Thursday afternoon. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Beautiful weather on this fabulous Fillies Day. Saratoga celebrating women and their contributions to the thoroughbred industry while raising funds to support breast cancer research. Great to have you with us, and we have a good card coming up. You're joining us just in time for the start of the late pick 4 sequence. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, LA Dodger, Paul LaDuca. We have our pink on, doing our part. Hopefully you do yours as well, and celebrating women and supporting breast cancer research all afternoon long today on the show. Our feature race, New York Stallion Series Statue of Liberty Division. 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the turf, and Goodbye Broccoli just missed last time out in a stakes race.
Yeah, and she's the one to beat, because you're looking at a lot of the other fillies that are in that field. You have By Self in there. She's never been on the turf. She's never gone a distance of ground. Now, Goodbye Broccoli last time was seen in New York Stallion Series, and she got beat by Creasy. And Creasy, is she a better 1-turn horse or 2-turn horse? We're going to find out today. Now, has Goodbye Broccoli going around 2 turns? Yes. She got that experience at Aqueduct, but will it help her out today? We'll see. They were close last time out, and maybe the stretch out and ground will make them a little bit closer, and maybe Goodbye Broccoli can turn the tables today.
We'll find out. That's our feature race coming up in the 8th. You could play along, bet all the races we're bringing you each and every day on Saratoga Live. Go to numberbets.com. There's a $200 new member bonus going on right now. Use the promo code Saratoga Live to take advantage. Bet any track, anytime, anywhere. Our late pick 4 begins coming up in race 6. That's a mile and a 16th on the turf. Race 7, mile and an 1/8 on the main. Our feature, that 8th race we were just talking about. And we'll close things out on a race that was taken off the turf. 5.5 furlongs now on the main for New York Bred's maiden special weight. Weather and track conditions presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of the Saratoga Racecourse. Piranha on Pescon. Main track is fast, turf course yielding. We're going to check in with our downstairs crew by the Paddock, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling and Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. Well, we've got a race coming up here in just a couple of minutes, and they're on the turf. Chad Brown shockingly has the favorite on the grass, Ticonderoga, a horse that seems to finally be finding his way this year as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, of course. He's going to be your prohibitive favorite right now at 3-5, and rightly so. He's faced horses like Robert Bruce, Yoshida, Oscar Performance throughout his career, and he just looks like a horse that continues to get better and better. Now, the only thing that you could say about him is he is a horse that closes from off the pace, but it's not like this race is devoid of speed.
No, I agree with Black Tide and the Rail. There should be plenty of speed in this race, and Ticonderoga just might be better than these horses as we head out to the 5th member of our team. Maggie Wolfendale is trackside.
And Andy, you're right. Ticonderoga is a prohibitive favorite because he looks to get that ideal setup today with the presence of, as you said, Black Tide on the rail, as well as Sliding Spring and the venerable 9-year-old New York bred in number 6, King Creasa, who the Creasas will be represented quite nicely a little bit later in that Statue of Liberty New York Stallion Series race with Creasy. But King Creasa is second off of a layoff. Look, he's not getting the right setup today, but he does look good for a 9-year-old, and he looks more fit now, second off the bench and back in the hands of trainer Dave Donk here, Greg.
I love King Creasa. I love this race coming up. He is one of 3 just bullet speedsters in this group. So the 6-horse King Creasa, you have the 1 Black Tide, and then you have the 8 Siding Spring. They all want to go to the front. Siding Spring, the 8, has been off since July of last summer.
Yeah, and that horse has been working well. Reportedly in the morning, you see there are all of our pick bar and the check marks. Aquaphobia, the 7, is the biggest fear. I went 4, 7, 8 here because I do think the 8, if he comes back to where he was at one point in his career, he can beat this group.
That might be the X-factor horse of this race, though. Albanus, the 5 here for Alstall. He brought him back from Europe last summer. State's debut put him in the Lure Stakes. He didn't fire. He has been off since that. So off since August of last year in a stake here at Saratoga. And training very good for the return. Let's send it upstairs for the start of the Pick 4. Here's the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
They're all in line and ready for the start. They're off. Siding Spring, King Creasa sent along, and so too Black Tide on the inside. King Creasa gets the jump on Black Tide into that first turn, and these two are going to go at it, and they're both hard sent. Siding Spring lays off of them and a bit wide, as slipping through on the inside is Aquaphobia. Obana is second last early on, and late running favorite Ticonderoga is 10 lengths off the lead as they make their way to the backstretch, and Black Tide kicks on now. Black Tide opens up the lead by 6 onto the backstretch, and King Creasa lets him do it. 23.06, a very fast opening quarter over a yielding turf course. And it is an isolated Black Tide out there where he likes it on a 7-length lead up the backstretch, with King Creasa in pursuit from second. Siding Spring is third, and then it's Aquaphobia, followed by Obana and Ticonderoga. The back markers are in no hurry, letting Black Tide do the running up front. 46.87 was his half mile. Black Tide by 4.5 lengths, moving for the far turn. King Creasa continues to be the closest pursuer in second. Siding Spring is third. On the inside is Aquaphobia in fourth. Obana is next, and Ticonderoga trails, now just 8 lengths off the lead. Black Tide in front as they make their way around the far turn, 2.5 lengths now. King Creasa second, Siding Spring on the outside is third. Aquaphobia saves all the ground, so too does Ticonderoga, who begins to move from the back of the pack as they close in on the pacemaker. Black Tide now passed by Aquaphobia. Here comes Ticonderoga. Splitting horses, King Creasa's on his inside, then Siding Spring. Ticonderoga comes barreling through an opening on the inside of Aquaphobia, who fights him to the wire. Ticonderoga and Aquaphobia. Ticonderoga's too good. Ticonderoga by a length and a half over Aquaphobia. Siding Spring was third, and King Creasa was fourth in 141.93.
There is a relieved Chad Brown getting the win here at Ticonderoga. When there finally became an opening for this horse, Javier Castellano asked for more, and he got it.
Yeah, he did a good job of just sitting, and listen, this whole meet, it seems like the horse that's made the last run has gotten the job done, and Chad Brown's going to make his way down the winner's circle.
And this was a very fast pace in front of him. We saw Black Tide set the pace as King Creasa was getting a bit rank going into that first turn. It was almost like the turn came too quick and he was going too fast. So we saw Aquaphobia make the first move into the pace, but a good trip for Ticonderoga, the eventual winner.
Absolutely. Ticonderoga is an odd horse, or a rare horse, in that he's very comfortable actually moving inside of horses. And we've seen him do that in all of his starts this year, actually. And he's been running well doing it. Judging by the final time of 141.93, this course is firm, is good. It may not be firm, as this horse could go very quickly, but this course is in amazing shape considering the rain that we have had lately.
We saw Jose Lezcano pull this off with Black Tide last summer here at Saratoga, open up to a huge lead, able to hang on. Not the case this time, but huge separation again early on in this race.
Yeah, but the opening quarter 23 is just not going to cut it against these type of horses. As you look at Chad, he's waiting for his charge to come back. You know, Aquaphobia was always loaded the whole time. Irad Ortiz was looking around. Even Siding Spring, given that horse needed a race, I thought ran good. But Aquaphobia always had the positioning on Ticonderoga. It's just that the 4 is just a better animal.
1-2 on your favorite Ticonderoga for leading trainer at the meet. Chad Brown, Woodford Racing, and Javier Castellano. We'll have the prices from race 6 when we come back. We'll set up the 7th when we continue on Saratoga Live. Stay with us.
This 3-time graded stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and Horse of the Year Up with the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Now the excitement is building as his first foals have arrived this year. Half to 4 graded stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by Distorted Humor. Ironicus, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Success starts at Saratoga. The Saratoga Selected Yearling Sale has established a reputation for high quality and high performance. Recent graduates include Grade 1 winners Avenge, Bolt d'Oro, and Moonshine Memories, and 2017 Breeders' Cup champions Battle of Midway, Stormy Liberal, and Rushing Full. The nation's #1 sale by percentage of Grade 1 winners, the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sale, August 6th and 7th.
We found Breeders' Cup champion Rushing Fall at Saratoga. Where will you be?
Visit Rivers Casino and Resort, upstate New York's ultimate entertainment destination, with live table game action and the hottest new slots paying out millions. Book your luxury waterfront room or suite at upstate New York's premier resort, the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino and Resort.
Back on a gorgeous day here at Saratoga Springs on Saratoga Live on MSG Plus, Prime Ticket, and Altitude. Good to have you with us. You can play along for free on our show each and every day with the Saratoga Showdown online contest. You can get signed up and started at NYRA.com/showdown, and you're playing for real prizes like NYRA Bets points and a chance at a grand prize like a 2019 Belmont Stakes ticket package. Look at our winner in race 6. Ticonderoga for Chad Brown and Javier Castellano.
Yeah, congratulations to Woodford Racing. This is the son of Tappet out of the Johar mare Cortana. Mama could run. Now her son could run. Her mama's daddy can run. Johar had probably one of the longest dead heats in Breeders' Cup history that day
For
at
that
Santa
four-win
Anita.
day for Richard Mandela, back when they only had 8 races in the Breeders' Cup card.
That is true. But Ticonderoga gets the job done, $3.
Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thank you, guys. And standing by here with winning owner of Woodford Racing is Bill Farish. And Bill, Ticonderoga, a horse that looked to be a very promising 2-year-old, lost his way a little bit last year, but really seems to be getting back on track this time around.
Yeah, he really is, Maggie. He ran a super race today, and we wanted. They brought the stake back on the weekend, but they also brought this allowance race today, and we thought we'd go in a slightly easier spot and hopefully set him up for a race later in the meet.
And talk about his affinity. Actually, Andy Sterling brought it up, and you watch him, and he likes to actually run on the inside of horses, which is kind of rare.
Yeah, I think it keeps him straighter if he runs on the inside of horses, and it worked well today. You know, it really wasn't a plan, but it worked out that way, and we had some pace today, which helps him a lot. And you know, he came on just like we hoped he would. The horse we were most worried about was second again, just behind us, and he ran a super race.
Obviously, he has a really nice pedigree. Keeping him a colt, is there any kind of thought down the line of trying to make him a stallion?
Absolutely. You know, that's our hope. We're going to maybe run him in the Baruch at the end of the meet if things go well from here. And, you know, he, as you said, a wonderful pedigree, great-looking horse. I just love him. I mean, he tries hard every time, and hopefully he'll earn his way into a breeding shed somewhere.
Well, Bill, it's good to see him here in the winner's circle. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Maggie.
All right, guys, Ticonderoga getting back on track here today.
Yes, indeed. I mean, he's explosive, too, when he finally found an opening in here. His 4th win on turf at 13 career starts. Gets his first win at Saratoga in his 2nd try. As we take a look at the NYRA Bets late pick 5 follow along, 107,000 in the pool. Formful to begin things here with 2 favorites.
It's really hard to tell what Potomac in race number 5 is going to play, because he was even money on the line. I think a lot of people took a chance at beating him, but I do think Ticonderoga was the most singled horse in the pick 5. So you're going to need to get some prices along the way now.
Well, let's see what happens here in the 7th. Mile and an 1/8 we're on the main track here. New York Bred's entry-level allowance. Coming up, Pink Twist on Fabulous Phillies Day. Right now, favored for John Terranova with Luis Saez in the irons. Just beat Puffery when they last met on July 11th.
Yeah, pretty fitting, right? On Fabulous Phillies Days, we're all wearing our pink, and Pink Twist is your favorite. You know, they took the blinkers off her last time, and I thought she ran well. But, you know, jockey leaves. Now Luis Saez will be aboard. She needs to get out of the gate a little bit better. Her last 2 times, she's been sort of flat-footed.
Everybody with their pink on today, celebrating Fabulous Phillies Day. We're going to meet an owner getting more women involved in this sport. Just had the first horse they ever bred go through the sales ring as well. We'll meet the woman behind Lady Sheila Stable when we come back.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. Phoenix has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice.
Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it as the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Back on Saratoga Live and Fabulous Phillies Day for the first time this year, honoring local breast cancer survivors during Winter Circle presentations throughout the afternoon in partnership with 2 Life. It's going on all afternoon here at the premier race meet in the country at Saratoga Racecourse. Got our 6th race in the books. We have the 7th to come. Our feature race still ahead as well. That'll be the New York Stallions Series Statue of Liberty Division competitive field coming up to this point. If you've been playing along, though, been very competitive. Lot going on, though, on this afternoon, more than just about the racing. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And pleased to be joined here in the paddock by NYRA President and CEO Chris Kay. And Chris, you've got your pink on, I've got my pink on. It's Pink Day. It's Fabulous Fillies Day. How important is this day to support Breast Cancer Research Foundation?
It's very important to us. It's a tremendous research center. They do great work, and it's also a day we get the chance to honor the great women of our sport. And so it's a wonderful tradition we have here now for the last several years.
And speaking of honoring such women, in the hot pink sizzling hot pink luncheon, the hat luncheon, I should say, we honored Vivian Malloy, one of our longtime owners and breeders here in New York.
Right, Vivian is a treasure, and she's been a real gift to New York as both a breeder and an owner. She received the award twice of being the top breeder and owner here in New York. She's had stakes winners in America, Japan, and Turkey, so she's not only done well nationally, but also internationally.
And one of the nicest women you will find here at the racetrack. But also, how exactly are we benefiting the Breast Cancer Research Foundation? Do ticket proceeds go to them?
Yes, so we actually have a ticket proceeds, and also Vineyard Vines has a variety of clothing for sale. And so between their contribution and ours, we make a meaningful contribution every year it's a wonderful foundation.
It really, truly is, and they've made so many advancements in the research for breast cancer. And I want to know, have you picked out any more Vineyard Vines pants?
Well, I tell you, I just talking to the folks at Vineyard Vines, and there is a place a block away from where my daughter, son-in-law, grandson, and granddaughter live. So I've given them things to purchase for me whenever it comes up, you know, maybe Father's Day next year or whatever, because they do have great stuff. It's fun to wear.
They really do. And did you hear that, K family? Dad has his list ready for the next birthday. Chris, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, guys, back to you.
Chris Kay, President and CEO of the New York Racing Association. He has done so much to help keep the history here of Saratoga, but bring it into the future of well and becoming a fashion trendsetter, as we've talked about on the show also.
Yeah, he is. He's always involved, too, as well. This is a great day for anybody. I mean, not just breast cancer. I lost my mother to cancer itself, ovarian cancer, but this is for everybody coming together on Fabulous Fillies Day, on Pink Day, and Chris just does a wonderful job keeping us all together. And he's a boss that loves to say hi to you as well. You got to love a boss that does that. Keeps you on your toes.
Absolutely. Horse racing is full of examples of women breaking through barriers to reach new heights in a sport that has long been dominated by men. There's Julie Crone as a jockey, trainer Linda Rice, who won a race meet here training title at Saratoga. Linda just happens to be the trainer for the woman you're about to meet, Sheila Rosenblum, whose Lady Sheila stable is bringing women together at the racetrack.
Anyone who knows me knows that my life's about my 2 children and a particular horse that is a love story, a New York love story. I was asked to purchase a horse named Laverdad. I bought Laverdad, and she had maybe won 2 or 3 small races at that point. And I remember asking my trainer, Linda, if she thought she at least had a good race or 2 left in her. It's in my middle of my mantle. My kid said, "Mom, that doesn't really match." And I said, "I didn't tell that to an Oscar." When I said, for me, that's a pretty big thing. As hard as this can be, and the fact that it's not just Laverdad, you've got to stick out the bad times. And she's been off the scene now for over a year, and it's still thriving. And there are up-and-coming horses, and some of our 2-year-olds, some of our 3-year-olds. I've really brought in about 8 or 9 women now in different groups, and we have a great time. It's camaraderie. For the most part, it has been all women. And one of my favorite vets is a female, Dr. Hogan. There should be more women, and there should be more partners, and there should be more female just enjoying. We can enjoy what the men do, and it's exhilarating. My entire serious racing success has been with my trainer, Linda Rice. There are always paths one takes, and the good news is I kept it going through pitfalls, and that gave me the ability to learn that the ballet background I had and the modeling background taught me a lot of rejection. Ballet is really what taught me about working hard and slowly. And it's been a wonderful, incredible 6 years and a lot of ups and downs, but the ups have surpassed the negatives. And this is all about perseverance. Laverdad put me on the map in pretty much to where I am now, to being an accidental breeder. She's now become a mom. Almost at 7:30 at night, almost Valentine's Day. And she's doing beautifully, and I named her La Cara Mia after my daughter, and I thought it was poetic. People were wondering, is she gonna be the new kid on the block for the first year, the second year? Now I've been more fortunate than many, and one comes and goes in this business, can very rapidly. But I think it's my love of horses that has kept me going.
Well, it's a tremendous story, and here is the Laverdad filly from the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sale, hip number 19. The reserve was not attained. It was the first horse ever bred by Lady Sheila stable. Dark Bay filly by Medaglia d'Oro. So this means La Cara Mia now going to Bridlewood Farm. She's going to be broken. She's going to race for Lady Sheila stable. And kind of mixed emotions, because I know Sheila Rosenblum, she grew very attached. Obviously, Laverdad meant so much to her and her stable. And to see now this offspring come, didn't want to see the horse go, the filly. And that's in a good way. I guess the reserve not attained in some ways, because now they'll get to race her and keep her close.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe it might be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
She might have put that reserve a little bit higher than she wanted, knowing that she wanted to see what she could get and then maybe run her horse. It's a great, great story. Great job.
Race 7 coming up next. We're about 14 minutes to post to this one. 1 1/8 here on the main track, and the money just keeps coming in here on Pink Twist for John Terranova.
Well, the horse to beat by far, right? I mean, she's got some races to go to. One bad race over a sloppy racetrack. The racetrack is drying out. Speed has been okay today. And I would think she's going to be a little bit closer. She just needs to get out of the gate. That's been her problem the last couple times. It took the blinkers off. It improved, but it did improve her gate speed.
There's a good look at her. Short price here. Let's get more on this group from down to the paddock. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. This paddock report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Greg, thank you. And we'll take a look at number 2 in here. That is Puffery, as she will be making only her 3rd start going around of ground, and actually her 1st start going around 2 turns. We'll see how that plays out here for her. She is a filly that going longer could lay a bit closer, and a feeling that she would run better going longer on a dry track, as she did last time out. She looks great here for trainer Mark Henning. She's really, really fit, and that's obviously what you need to be to go 1 1/8 over this Saratoga racecourse. Moving on to your favorite, that is number 5, Pink Twist. And yes, she probably looks the best here in the field if you look at her from the overall perspective. But what distance does she really want to go here? She broke her maiden, and the only race she's ever won was going 6 furlongs, and she got somewhat close going the 1-turn miles. She is a bigger, taller filly, so yes, physically you would think that the longer the better. I don't know. Like I said, I think she looks like the horse to beat. I just don't know if I fully trust her. Andy, what are your feelings about Pink Twist here?
I think you asked the right questions, Maggie, to be honest with you. I think distance is such a giant question this race. And Gabby and I talked about it earlier in the handicapping show. We don't really trust anybody at the distance. Frankly, one of the slower horses in the race and the longest shots on the board, the number 3 Peace and Spice, might like the distance. She's not that quick. Pink Twist, she's way over bet right now at 6-5. The gap between her and Puffery should be much close. One of the problems you have with her, Gabby, besides distances, and I agree with you, she has trouble sealing the deal.
Yeah, and I don't often like to use this word, but she has been a bit of a phony from the get-go. I mean, she broke her maiden first time out, and then after that, she was bet down to the heavy favorite in her subsequent 2 starts, and she should have won both of those races, and she did not deliver. So on top of that, I actually thought that Puffery ran the better race than Pink Twist did last time out. Puffery seems like she could go the distance. There are a lot of question marks with Pink Twist, especially at the price.
Right, I agree. And I agree. And the reason that Gabby's saying that Puffery, the number 2, ran the better race is that she was engaging the pace. And the pace was relatively quick. Now, the speed horse won the race, but it's even harder to engage a pace when a speed holds on than it is to be Pink Twist, who's seeing that perfect
Stretching out from
trip.
three-quarters, too.
But Pink Twist seeing the perfect trip on the rail just kind of picked up pieces for second. Puffery was the one doing the dirty work. Now, Puffery's going to have to chase again because likely Pot of Deuce, the 4, is the speed. But Puffery, I just prefer her at a better price, and I don't know necessarily she's not a better horse.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, there could be a scenario where none of these horses want to go in a mile and an 8. So I think the important thing is to revert back to who you like best just off of their talents and merits, and I see that with Puffery.
And I want to head back to the roof. I know that Greg doesn't like to miss the bugle call.
It's always good luck to hear the call to post, especially from Sam the Bugler here at Saratoga. Pink out all over the racetrack today.
I've seen some beautiful fascinators today, to be honest with you. I really have.
Of course, we're going to have the winners of the contest as well, with the fashion contest a little bit later on, see who wore it best today. We're going to start off with my girl Annie. Michael, as he rides for Gary Contessa, stretched out to a mile and 1/8 last time out and got caught late.
Yeah, and I would think they're going to try to employ the same tactics here and try to go to the front end, one-time winner.
Rider change on Puffery. It will be Jose Ortiz for trainer Mark Hennig.
Puffery, to me, is a big overlay right now at 3-1. I think she maybe end up being the horse to beat.
3-year-old filly by Flatter Puffery. The 3 Peaches and Spice, Eric Consell rides.
Yeah, and this is another one that's going to be really tough to get to. 2 for 28 lifetime, and that's why she's 19-1.
Pas de Deuce, 3-year-old filly by Curlin for trainer John Morrison, Rajiv Mirage aboard.
Plenty of distance from her sire, Curlin. Her Grade 1 winning Dam, however, won her Grade 1 at 6 furlongs.
Pink Twist, here's the 6-5 favorite, trained by John Terranova with Luis Saez.
I think still the 1 to beat. She needs to get out of the gate because if the 1 cannot go with the 2, which could be the case because the 1 got away with, you know, easy fractions last time, you know, she's going to put herself behind the 8 ball.
And Salty Smile taking the blinkers off for John Toscano Jr. with Joel Rosario.
She feels like she's going to be an outside chase in a difficult spot to win this race.
That's your field here for race 7 on this fast main track. Get signed up, started, play along. $200 new member bonus going on now when you use the promo code Saratoga Live. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NyraBets app or go to nyrabets.com to get signed up and started. Pink all over Saratoga Race Course this afternoon as we celebrate Fabulous Fillies Day. Supporting breast cancer research all afternoon long here at the premier race meet in the entire country. We'll be back with the 7th race, our feature race still to come in the 8th. Stick with us. You're watching Saratoga Live. We'll be back.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NyraBets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or NyraBets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live, community outreach booth, teaming up with Floyd Warriors, an online organization dedicated to supporting and inspiring individuals and families in the capital region who have been recently diagnosed with cancer. In addition to serving cancer patients, Floyd Warriors carries out an annual initiative entitled Project Easter Bunny, where the organization collects candy and toys for Easter baskets, which are distributed to major cancer organizations all around the capital regions. There's Sam the Bugler in the spirit as well on Fabulous Phillies Day. Even has the bugle decked out in a little bit of pink as we get set for race 7 here coming up. And this is a look at Pas de Deuce, the 3-year-old filly by Curlin. Andy mentioned bottom side, some sprint pedigree, but certainly top side pedigree that likes to go long.
Yeah, it's hard to just sort of imagine what's going to work out here. I mean, maybe the scenario for her to win. And, you know, when you look at a horse race, I think, Cap, you want to say to yourself, what is the scenario that each horse can win? And I guess the scenario for her is for Rajiv Barrage to blast off and just say, you know what? I'm going to try to bottom the field out. I'm going to try to get away from these horses. None of them want to go the distance, and they're going to play come and catch me. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but isn't that her best scenario?
Yeah, I would think so, because if you do that, at least in the early stages of the race, going into the first turn, you at least make the other riders have that tendency to take back, and it gives the ability for the filly to at least harness her speed and relax a bit, which helps them with stamina. So I could foresee that maybe being the case, but I can't see Puffery being too far behind her.
I'm not saying she will be, and I don't know it's going to happen. It's tough. These mile and eighth races are tricky. Inside posts give you a giant advantage going in that first turn. If you want to clear from the outside, you really need to clear. And I think that's why the number 6, Salty Smile, is going to have a problem. Because from her far outside post, because it's not like Pink Twist is just going to drop out at the start. Clearly, Pas de Deuce is going to show some speed. Puffery's going to show some. And I don't think that My Girl Annie is going to drop totally out of the race. She rates to be towards the outside chasing, and I think that even if you like Salty Smile, she just faces a likely wide trip chasing, which is the worst trip to get in a race like this, in my opinion.
Well, here's a proposed situation that could happen, right? Joelle Rosario has been on her in her last 3 starts, and she has been forwardly placed. She unfortunately has been in that position chasing, and it has not panned out too well for her. So, could there be a scenario where he distinctively tries to take her off of the pace, save some ground going into the first turn, and go from there?
I don't see how she's going to be able to save ground. They get the turn so quickly. You're creating a perfect world scenario for a horse that may just be outposted, Paul.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that could be. The other part about this is, like, you know, the claim 3 starts ago, and then you're worrying now, okay, the blinkers come off, one-time blinkers, and none of these horses have gone a mile and 1/8 besides the one. And so I'm worried about all these horses getting the distance around, you know? So I don't know what's going to really happen, where they're all going to sit. And to me, the horse that gets to the front here could be very dangerous, because a lot of these horses don't really have a lot of pass in them.
Now, My Girl Annie, the one, tried to do it last time out. Pink Twist has some speed. We'll see what happens here from a pace standpoint coming up. It will be fascinating. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale for more.
Yeah, these mile and 1/8 races, guys, they're so tricky because it's really tough to figure out, especially in this given affair, who is going to make the lead. Now, I'm standing right here trackside, and as Andy pointed out, there is a very short run to the turn. It's a little, not even quite an 1/8 of a mile to get to that turn for the horses to sort them out. Now, number 4 is Pas de Deuce. She is one of 3 3-year-olds in here, but she looks like a 3-year-old. The other 2, Puffery and Salty Smile, they have some size to them. Relative to this field, Pas de Deuce, she does look on the smaller side. Now, that could mean she's a little more fleet-footed, and she could get away from there quickly. She didn't necessarily get that kind of warm-up. The horse, though, that did here, Greg, that did get a little more of an energetic warm-up and showed some more energy on track is number 5, Pink Twist, but you have to think that the Connections did that because she has been having trouble getting out of the gate.
Well, Maggie usually very adept at noticing that, and oftentimes when we see that from a jockey and the horse, it means they're going to be aggressive out of the gate.
Yeah.
And Pink Twist, the 5, actually did show some sprint speed in her debut.
Yeah, and she's, I would think, going to have to be closer and closer to the pace today to beat this field, and that might be the filly they're all going to have to catch, depending how this race plays out early. The 1 has been in front before, but not the fastest fractions as the 2 has been out of, and even the 4 has shown some coming out of some faster races. So Look for the 2 maybe early, and look for your favorite maybe a little bit later if any of them have any punch here going the 1 1/8 late.
Here's Puffery already moved in. Long shot, Peaches and Spice loads up next, but it's even money on the 5 in here. Pink Twist with Luis Saez for John Terranova. We're set for race 7. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
Pink Twist goes in. Even money odds. Now backs out of the starting gate is Pink Twist. One of the inside runners, Puffery, is also acting up a bit in the gate, but has now settled down. Just one left to load here. Salty Smile coming up to the outside stall, goes in, and they're all in line. Just trying to get Puffery straightened out here in the starting gate. All set. They're off. My Girl Annie came out quickly. Pink Twist is up and on the pace too. Puffery behind them, and then comes Salty Smile to the outside and 4 wide into that turn. They're being followed by Pas de Deuce, who is second last in the initial stages here. Peaches and Spice lags behind early. My Girl Annie up top, sent to the lead by Mike Luzzy, with the favorite Pink Twist 3/4 of a length behind. Salty Smile third outside of Puffery. Pas de Deuce in behind them. 4.5 lengths off the lead, another 4.5 to Peaches and Spice. 23.93 the opening quarter mile. Moving on to the backstretch in pursuit of My Girl Annie, who leads Pink Twist by a 1/2 length. And then it's Puffery on the inside. Salty Smile on the far outside. Up into third. Puffery back running in fourth. Pas de Deuce is fifth. Peaches and Spice is 10 lengths off the lead up the backstretch. 47.93 the half for front running My Girl Annie. Pink Twist keeping her close company. She's just a neck back with a 1/2 mile to go. Then Salty Smile on the outside of Puffery. Pas de Deuce is fifth. 5 lengths to make up, a long way to Peaches and Spice. Around the far turn, My Girl Annie and Pink Twist continue to go at it. And now they're right together, and Puffery is being sent up to challenge them too. Puffery under a drive comes up to Pink Twist from the outside. My Girl Annie gives way at the rail. Pas de Deuce is in contention too. 2.5 lengths to make up. 3/4, 111.76. They're into the stretch. Pink Twist and Puffery. Pas de Deuce on the outside is up into third. Pink Twist, Luis Saez shaking her up as she holds off the competition. Puffery is next, and then Pas de Deuce on the outside. By the 16th pole, and Pink Twist is starting to edge away. It's going to be Pink Twist on Fabulous Fillies Day, winning it by 2.5 lengths. Pas de Deuce was second, and then Puffery and Peaches and Spice in 151.76.
Pink Twist pulls away late to get the second win of her career with Luis Saez aboard.
Yeah, he did a great job out of the gate of getting her out and sitting in a perfect position, perfect stalking position, and never looked like the loser, actually, until a little bit here deep in the lane, but she found something left.
A hunch butt of the day, right? Pink Twist on this fabulous Fillies Day. Congratulations to the connections. But the race complexion completely changed when the 4 Pas de Deuce did not break, actually stumbling coming out of the gate.
I agree. That's a good point, Gabby. They still went pretty quickly up front. I think Rajim Mirage did a great job with Pas de Deuce, getting the best he could and finishing second. As it turns out, Puffery really isn't a 1 1/8 horse, and because the 5 Pink Twist was on that pace, and let's give her credit, that was a very honest pace there that she was on.
Sure.
She earned the victory, and you know what? Best horse won.
No doubt, Pink Twist, best of this group. 2 wins now, 3 seconds in 6 career starts. And at this point, starts to edge away here for the victory. Luis Saez picks up his 20th victory here of the Saratoga Summer Meeting. We'll be back with the prices right after this. 6 to 5 on your winner. When we return, we're going to talk Fourstardave coming up. We got a good one here this weekend at a mile on the turf. Yoshida back from Royal Ascot, and Heart to Heart, who just missed a 3rd consecutive Grade 1 win, going head to head.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. Now his flashy first crop yearlings are turning heads with a striking resemblance to their internationally successful sire. The sky's the limit for this promising young stallion, Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Back on Saratoga Live. And these are cheesecake kebabs?
Yes.
Have you tried one?
I tried the cheesecake one, and then I just, like, it was so good. It's one of those things where you're like, man, do you really want to do it to yourself? Because it's at least 3 days in the gym.
Oh, that's incredible.
But it is worth it for at least one try.
I'll do the fruit kebab.
Okay.
That's appropriate for Fabulous Phillies Day. Silk's colors of Gary Mary West, last year's Travers winner, of course, West Coast, who would go on to become 3-year-old champion on August 25th. Not that far away for this year's edition of the Travers. Right. And we have a filly who is a fabulous filly lining up against the boys in that race.
It's going to be very interesting, and as the Travers field will start shaping up, it's Naira late pick 5 and late pick 4 shaping up a little chalky. 9-4-5, the 5 pink twist. Good friend Eric Fine will get the job done here. Louis says this is a mare they've had for a while, Pumpkin Surprise, and the gate was the difference today. I think her getting out of the gate and in good position got her the W.
Here's the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along. I would say a lot of people still alive here in this sequence. We might be spreading this money around today.
Yeah, that's okay.
107,000 plus in the pool. And chalky to this point. You never know, though. We're going to see a bust-out long shot coming up. We have our feature race still to come in the New York Stallion Series Statue of Liberty division, which does appear to be completely wide open as we take a look at the field here. It's a mile over the inner turf. Yielding conditions this afternoon, and right now, Creasy for David Donk. Jose Ortiz, who already has 2 wins today, on board, the 2-1 favorite.
It's a competitive race. It really is. Goodbye Broccoli and Creasy have very good turf form. By Self's never been on the turf before, and we gets the monies. The 6, great name, had a little bit of trouble last time out on the dirt, was not bad on the turf, can run on either surface. This is an intriguing little race, although it's only a little 7-pack.
All right, plenty to talk through that field. We'll do so in just a little bit. We want to look ahead to this monster showdown coming up this weekend. Of course, Weekend Hideaway is a main track only, not going to run in this race. Fourstardave, we got some serious talent in the spot. Yoshida coming back from the Queen Anne. Voodoo Song, 4-4-4 on the Saratoga turf, has never lost here. Heart to Heart nearly won 3 consecutive Grade 1s. And Heart to Heart, Paul, just missed by an X Shoemaker Mile last time out. That would have been 3 straight Grade 1s, and we know that he loves Saratoga.
Yeah, and he gets his name because of that beautiful marking he has on his head. It looks exactly like a heart, but it actually is him to a T. He is a kind of horse that if you give him the lead or give him his own way on the front end, he can get so tenacious. and that's why he's almost been a back-to-back Grade 1 winner. Here's the deal. He has to deal with Voodoo Song. What's going to give in this race? Is Voodoo Song going to go after him, who sort of learned how to rate a little bit, is heart-to-heart, going to go straight to the front end? He sometimes has shown that he can rate. What's going to give? That's going to be very interesting in the first half of this race.
Between them, those two, 6 for 6 on the turf at Saratoga. Meanwhile, Yoshida, Andy Serling, coming back from the Queen Anne. Before that, it was a Grade 1 win in the Turf Classic at Churchill Downs.
Really, he ran his best race, far and away his best race at Churchill. Now, there's a ton of give in the ground that day, so perhaps you really like the yielding going, and we're going to be firm by Saturday, something we don't see here too often. Yoshida, to me, is the horse to beat in here. I think that Heart to Heart's not as good without the lead, and I doubt he gets it from Voodoo Song. I don't think Voodoo Song is good enough to beat these horses. I have great respect for Made to Look, Chad Brown's runner. But Yoshida, if he can come back successfully after running at Ascot in June, and no reason to think he can't come back and run well, I think he's going to be very tough to beat in this race and get his second Grade 1 win in 2018.
Gabby, a lot of talent in this race, so we'll see. You know, Voodoo Song's one of my all-time favorites here after what he did here last summer, but a quality group in this Fourstardave.
Oh, absolutely. There's a quality group, and I'll be interested to see kind of how the pace shapes up with Heart to Heart and Voodoo Song just to his outside. But there's one thing about it. If Heart to Heart gets on the lead, he's hard to catch.
Well, if Voodoo Song doesn't stumble out of the gate, I doubt it happens. and he is hard to catch, and he's been a very game horse. And as they said upstairs, he can run well when he doesn't have the lead. I think looking at his PPs, taking a careful look at him, he's not quite as good when he's not able to control the race, and that's often the case. And I don't think he can beat Yoshida and Made to Look, both of them, without the lead in that race. Obviously, a lot more to come here. A lot of good racing coming up. Looking for the Statue of Liberty division of the New York Stallion Stakes, a race where Goodbye Broccoli, I believe, with his two-turn experience, may turn out to be the horse to beat. Lots more to come as Saratoga Live continues.
They're on. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Soft's got a turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
A dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe, running a 105 buyer and winning by open lengths. Mastery, new for 2018 at Claiborne Farm.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
You're watching Saratoga Live. We are getting set for race 8, our feature race, coming up in just a little bit. We're going to talk a little more action that happened just across the street here. Caused a lot of fireworks over the last couple of nights. Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sale and Claiborne Sire Warfront making some news as well with a couple of horses that came for a pretty hefty price tag. Let's take a look at the Claiborne Stallions at Fasig-Tipton. Hip number 65. Warfront out of the damn Pine Needles went for $825,000. Here she is, Bay Filly by Warfront, sold to agent Steve Young for that hefty price. First full out of a graded place winner, Pine Needles. Steve Young, he actually bought 5 6-figure yearlings at the sale. Of course, Warfront, the top international super sire, has had a tremendous go at stud with 8 champions produced already, 7 millionaires. Hip number 27. This is an Irish-born daughter of Warfront, half-sister to 2-time Eclipse Award-winning champion turf female Tappan, who of course won the Breeders' Cup Mile and the Queen Anne Stakes at Royal Ascot.
She's a big old filly, isn't she? And she made a nice presence in the ring to bring home $750,000. And you know, we covered the last couple of days, sometimes the first rounders. You see some of the names on there. Alex Solis Jr. signing the ticket on a lot of them, and Joshua Litt. A lot of people remember Josh as a trainer out in California. And then Flatter did some good work as well. $485,000 for Mr. Oxley, hip number 144. So they talk about the first rounders a lot. Sometimes the second, third, fourth rounders will surprise you. Like those type of horses still going for a pretty penny.
Fabulous Phillies Day continuing here. Sea Hero decked out in pink flowers out there in the Paddock area as well. We're getting set for our feature race coming up. It is again the Statue of Liberty division here in the New York Stallion Series. And right now it is Creasy, 5-2 favorite on the board, trained by David Dunk. Jose Ortiz will be aboard. He's looking for his 3rd winner here this afternoon, but that's a look at Goodbye Broccoli, who came from off the pace to just miss to Creasy last time out and finished ahead of very nice filly Mentality, who we saw just run a few days ago, run 2nd here.
Well, you can argue, listen, that this is the horse to beat and probably should be your favorite. And the reason why, the filly, since she's put on blinkers, has gotten better. She's gone this distance to ground, or at least farther than this distance. And, you know, I know Creasy got the better of her last time, but she was really wide at the top of the lane. And I don't think these fillies are too far apart, but I think by the time it's all said and done, Goodbye Broccoli will be your favorite.
And Andy, you can make the argument too. I mean, she put on blinkers 2 starts back, and she's improved since the equipment change.
She's really improved this year overall, but the blinker change is a good point, Greg. Seems to have made a difference. And as Paul said, Goodbye Broccoli will be favored by post times. A real favorite in the doubles, Gabby. I just think Goodbye Broccoli, 2 things, Gabby. She moved too soon last time in a race that completely fell apart, which benefited Creasy. And she is the clear 2-turned horse of the 2 favorites.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Creasy cut back in distance to 3/4 last time out, but Goodbye Broccoli coming fresh in off of that 2nd place finish last time out. And she has even proven in the fact that she can handle 2 turns. So by those virtues alone, I think that she is surely the horse to beat.
Yeah, she's a very nice horse. Phil Serby's done a great job with her. But let's not cut Creasy short. I don't think we're doing that here. Creasy's good. And last time she ran, I don't think that 6 furlongs is too short. Actually, we're moving on to the 6. Excuse me, we'll get back to Creasy in a second. But We Gets to Money, the 6. We Gets to Money, if you look at her running lines, she has one speed figure, Beyer speed figure, that stands out above all the others, and that's her one turf race. She is clearly a much better turf horse. Now, I think distance a bit of a question for her, but she didn't finish that far behind the others, albeit with an overall good trip saving ground, but she did have some traffic trouble in the stretch, and I think she's the wild card if you're looking for a price.
She did, but overall that race did set up for those closers. You said she got into a little bit of trouble. Yeah, 2 turns is the question mark. You see these horses who are closing sprinters, and it kind of takes that kick away once they stretch out to 2 turns. Plus, I think that she's got a lot to prove in terms of her class.
Well, I don't know about that, Gabby. She finished just behind the others, and she did run well enough on the dirt at 1 mile and 16th last time to suggest it was actually her best dirt figure, suggest she may be able to handle the difference. I like her more than you do in this race. The 3 Creasy can still win this race. She was compromised last time by a monstrously slow pace and a very firm turf course. I think what she has to prove is, because she's never even tried it before, is whether or not she can be at all proficient around 2 turns.
Both Goodbye Broccoli and Creasy will be standing next to each other in the starting gate, both by the sire Cosmonaut. Yeah, Creasy, I just think that she might be a little bit better of a closing sprinter going 1 turn, but she clearly has the talent. She's proficient on the turf. I mean, there are a lot of things to like about her. I just prefer the 2.
Right. I mean, talent can always get you there, and I feel the same way as you do. The number 1 by self, you like a lot more than I do. She is very talented, and she's run well in all of her starts. This is not, I mean, yes, her dam is by Polish numbers. There is some turf pedigree from there. Polish numbers could run the turf. Overall, though, this is a very, very much a dirt pedigree. And I think Rick Violet is trying the turf as a risk to see, can she handle the grass and open up more avenues? If not, they'll leave her on the dirt. But at a short price, I think you're supposed to bet against her.
We'll see what the 5 Crashing Connie does in this race, but it could mean that the 1 by self, especially with that inside post position, puts her in a position to control the race. Now, look, I understand. There is a little bit of pedigree on the bottom side. This is her finishing second on the dirt. Noble Causeway overall is about 4% with first-time turfers, and Rick Violet is about 11% with getting horses to the turf for the first time.
If she was a big price, you wanted to use her, be fine. But in the 7-2 range, I want no part of her. But I'll tell you something. I want to hear what Maggie has to say about her. The Paddock Report. It's brought to you by Hillendale. Maggie, let's talk about by self and some others in the paddock.
Thank you, Andy. And actually, yeah, we'll start off with by self here, guys. And a filly that is a full sister to a horse of the family that was probably the most successful thus far in Noble Cornerstone. Now, he never tried the turf, and never did he ever give me the feeling that he was a turf horse. But looking at by self here, she actually does have those very kind of slack pasterns, which does a lot of times translate well to getting onto this surface. And as Andy and Gabby were talking about, she has speed from the inside. And that is kind of vital to have a lot of times on this turf course, going a mile on the inner. She looks great here, and obviously she is talented, but there's some pedigree, but there's not enough for me to say, oh yeah, definitely take by self in here. As we'll also check out another first-time turfer in number 5, Crashing Connie, that comes by way of Finger Lakes, and she might give by self a little bit of a run on the front end too. Now, she is by Courageous Cat, and the ones that tried the turf only handled it. There really wasn't any winners per se, but I kind of like Courageous Cat a little bit more than I like Noble Causeways getting on this surface. And really, she looks great here. I can't fault her at all. She's going to offer some value on the board. But as far as horses that do have experience here on the turf, the one that looks the best and always looks the best, and I will always pick her, is number 2, Goodbye Broccoli. She's just a big, strong, good-looking filly. She's feeling good. She's on her toes, and she just struts herself every single time she comes over here for trainer Phil Serpy. And 2, I like this distance for her. I know she won breaking her maiden going 6 furlongs, but then again, her other win has come going 1 mile and 16th, so this mile kind of suits her down to the ground. So I like Goodbye Broccoli here, guys.
5-2. She definitely makes a nice appearance here on the board again. Luis Saez will ride for Phil Serpy, and she broke her maiden sprinting, but she's also won going long.
Yeah, she has, and that's the key, that she's won going long, and the blinkers has helped. And, you know, that race at Aqueduct will help too, even though it's not a 2-turn race at Belmont. The one at Aqueduct is. And then the odds are starting to tighten up here a little bit more. But, you know, the 5 and the 6 aren't either, or at least the 4 and the 5 in here. Miss Jen, who's getting a little bit of money. And horses got a decent win last time. I get it was for 32, but sometimes those horses can get a little bit of a boost when they win races, you know?
I think you look at this field, and, you know, we talk about it a lot, but 3-year-old fillies haven't really sorted themselves out yet, and you got some new shooters on the grass, like the one by self, but no one really stands out in terms of, like, a big class edge in this group.
No. Well, I think they can't right now at 3, maybe. Yeah. You make a good point about the 1. And then the 5. Listen, the 5
dangerous.
Is in good form, Crashing Connie. Now, do I know that she's been racing at Finger Lakes? Yes, but she's been running against some decent company, but she's never stepped foot on the turf. Is there a turf pedigree? Yeah, Courageous Cat was a darn good turf horse. If he didn't run into Goldlakova a couple times, he would have been okay. So I think a lot of people don't know that. But 8-1, you're getting what you want. But still, the 2 and the 3, as the guys and the jockeys are got a little wrap around the leg, little pink wrap. Gotta love that. But 2 and 3 of the horses to beat in there. Wonder if something's going on there. Maybe a little hamstring or quad pull there.
Rad Ortiz Jr. maybe just representing for Fabulous Fillies Day. Leading rider at the meet, and he's already on the board this afternoon as well. 26 victories to pace everybody in that jockey's room. And that is the filly that he will be aboard. So By Self making her turf debut. Won the first 2 starts of her career. She went off the layoff after having won as a 2-year-old. She came back and won at 3, having not raced in about 8 months. And then a narrow second on a sloppy track back race that we covered at Belmont.
And now we think she goes to the front end in here, or tries to go to the front end. You'll find out very quickly between her and the 5. Well, I think you'll find out more with the 5, whether she likes the turf or not, because it doesn't translate. The speed on dirt does not translate to the speed on turf. And I think you'll know immediately right out of the gate, the 1 and the 5 look like the 2 speeds in there, and they're the 2 fillies that are going to be trying the turf for the first time.
So Rick Violet giving Irad Ortiz Jr. a leg up. What a weekend for Rick Violet with Diversify.
Yes.
Winning the Whitney. You could use the Naira Bets app to hit a trifecta in the Statue of Liberty today, and you'll earn a 10% winner's bonus. The app available in the App Store or for Android on NairaBets.com. Naira Bets offers a 10% winner's bonus on a selected stake every day of the Saratoga meet, so be sure to visit NairaBets.com for the entire schedule. 10 minutes to post coming up in our feature event. Coming up, it has been a formful afternoon so far in our Naira Bets late pick 5 as we get a look at jockey Kendrick Carmouche. He'll be on board Barrel of Destiny, the biggest price on the board at 20-1.
That horse is getting no love at all. And last time out, put the blinkers on. And did she improve? Maybe a tiny bit.
We'll see what happens here. Sprint certainly on the bottom side for the 8. Disco Rico, one of my favorite sprinters of all time.
Really? Disco Rico was a really nice sprinter, no doubt about it. Ran some fast race. A good sire of turf sprinters, too. Too bad he passed away so young.
There is the horse we're talking about with that pedigree. Disco Rico on the bottom side. The 8, Barrel of Destiny, moving by. This one would be a surprise. This is horse still a maiden here in this spot, making career start number 7. So big number there, and that is part of the reason why you hear the call to post behind us. And we're going to kick things off here in just a moment with the filly trying the turf for the very first time, and Rick Violet trying to see if she has any kind of future here on this other surface. She's been pretty good in 3 career starts. 2 victories. That second beat a length as the beaten favorite last time out. By Self, daughter of Noble Causeway. Irad Ortiz Jr., the meet's leading rider aboard.
She is likely to speed from the inside, perhaps with some company. If she is as good on turf as she is on dirt, which is unlikely, she'd be a major player. I doubt it, though.
Favored right now, here's Goodbye Broccoli. Phil Serpy trains this one with Luis Saez aboard. Just missed by a half length to Creasy last start with a wide trip.
Yeah, and her trainer, Phil Serpy, is well familiar with the pedigree. He trained the sire Cosmonaut as long as some siblings, too. I love how this filly's touting herself on the track.
Creasy is the one who beat Goodbye Broccoli back on June the 24th. Jose Ortiz aboard.
A very talented runner for one of the better turf trainers in the game in David Donk, but the question we'll answer today is she as good around 2 turns as she is around 1?
Jose Lizcano rides for Jimmy Ryerson on Miss Jen, who was a winner at Belmont for 32 claiming last start.
Got a slight cutback in distance to the mile, which it seemed to help her settle a little bit. She has to step up in class, but she's proven at the 2 turns.
An interesting runner here, trying the turf for the first time, has plenty of speed, Crashing Connie.
Be interesting to see what her speed does to the runners in this race. Unlikely she's going to improve on the grass, though.
And we get the monies for Jeremiah Engelhart, Manny Franco aboard, just her second try on the grass.
Yeah, only 1 start on the turf, and that was going against Creasy and Goodbye Broccoli. We'll see if she can turn the tables at 2 turns today.
And the maiden on the outside. Barrel of Destiny yet to win so far for trainer John Hernler.
Coming out of inferior competition, would have to take a huge step up to win today.
So that is your group here for our feature race coming up. Again, yielding turf course. We're on the inner turf here. Going a mile, and Goodbye Broccoli, still your favorite on the board at 2-1.
Yeah, and we were saying that the two would end up being your favorite, and Creasy's going to hold on to that second spot, I would think, on the board. Now, she's nothing but sprinted. She's never gone further than 7 furlongs. That's the question, and she's answered almost all the other questions, and maybe she can get it done. The 2 just maybe has it just a little bit more on her. The 3's going to have to show a little more, you know?
Well, trying something new again with this filly right here, trainer Rick Violet, who's had a pretty wonderful weekend. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And I'm sure he's still relishing in that big Whitney win here, Rick. And let's first talk about the business at hand right now. And that is by self here, trying the turf for the first time. Was this a kind of entry into this race, taking advantage of the fact that she's a New York Stallion filly? Or do you think she will like the turf?
I think she'll love it, actually. And it just happened to be a perfect first attempt. It's a little bit of money with little stakes. And the competition is an open competition, so it's a perfect entry level.
What about her makes you believe that she will handle it?
We breezed her once here last week, and first time on that turf course with the dogs out in the middle of the racetrack. She didn't go blistering fast, but she went in 49, finished well, and her action was better. She on the dirt, she hates the ground almost. She pounds it hard. And she doesn't have the most graceful action. It was better on the turf, so.
Well, that is quite intriguing here, as I got to get back to your good horse. You know, we've visited with you plenty of times, but it also seems as though Diversify's rider, Irad Ortiz, has really figured things out. And it's almost as if he's gone back to riding of yesteryear, and that is to send and keep on sending, and Diversify loves it.
He really does. They do have a newfound confidence in each other. Irad feels invincible, and I think Diversify kind of feeds off that a little bit. He takes them around there, and Irad really he figured it out a couple of races ago. He said, "I really think he wants to be on the bridle," and he's so much better on the lead that if we get there, we're boss. So.
And how is he doing? Are we still pointing to the Jockey Club Gold Cup?
Yes, I think that's it. It would be kind of cool to win the Woodward. But I won't press things. I think now discretion will be better part of valor. I don't know that we'll even nominate for the Woodward. We'll go to the Jockey Club. He loves that racetrack, so loves the 1.25 miles, and then we'll decide about the Breeders' Cup after that.
Looking to defend his title in that race. Rick, best of luck here with By Self, and thank you for sharing Diversify with us.
Thank you. He's a pleasure to be around, believe me.
That he is. I know he has several fans on this show, right, Greg?
Yes, he does. Survived that 41-minute rain delay, and still he had a horse that Connection said, our horse is going to get to the front. Huge long shot. That's our only chance. They were intent on getting that. No chance. Diversify was like a rocket ship out of the gate and just kept on going. Incredible performance in the Whitney by that New York bred. And now going to defend his title in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Looking forward to it, and Rick's done a great job with that horse. And yeah, you're right. Did the right thing. Went to the front end and used his most dangerous weapon, which is speed.
So looking forward to seeing him back at Belmont and trying to defend that title and hopefully onto the Breeders' Cup Classic. As for his filly here, another look at the one, the daughter of Noble Causeway, the turf debut, and it sounds like she's shown ability on the grass for this barn.
I want to say something about her, though, by self. And I appreciate, and I think Rick's a terrific trainer, and I appreciate what he said. She has never gone a mile. She's never gone 2 turns. She's good in the dirt. She's going to have to improve in all likelihood to win this race. She's going to have to deal with other speed in here, particularly from the cry of Crashing Connie. And she's 7-2 with all of these questions. To me, she is the very essence of poor value and a horrendous bet in this race. And in fact, she's the kind of horse you're supposed to throw out and eliminates the takeout, and it gives the advantage to you.
So 7-2. I think he's Andy firmly against myself, it sounds like, in this spot. 9-5 right now as Goodbye Broccoli, and we expected this, become a solid favorite in this spot. I just think none of these fillies have separated themselves at all. So what do you think about 9-5 on Goodbye Broccoli?
Well, the thing about Goodbye Broccoli, she's proven, you know, she's proven, got the blinkers on now, okay? They got the mile and 16th race into her very earlier in her career. It didn't anybody in here. No one's gone a mile and a 16th. She's run well since they put the blinkers on. So now she's polished. The rest of these horses aren't yet. Now, they're going to have to step up to beat her. The 3 Creasy now has beaten her. Now she needs to make that step up. Well, now all the weight's on top of Goodbye Broccoli. We'll see what happens. But if Creasy can take that step towards, you know, going around 2 turns. She's got a big shot in here, the 3.
It's been formful so far in the Naira Bets late pick 5. Everyone expecting it to stay that way here. Usually that's when things could change. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale for more.
Wow, the weight is strong here on poor Goodbye Broccoli, but her main foe is number 3, Creasy. And as you guys were just saying, the main question mark with her is if she can go around 2 turns. Now, she is a bit more on the smaller, more demure side than her, the horse who were inside in Goodbye Broccoli. But what I do like about Creasy is that she seems to be thriving on racing. She seems to get stronger every time she's brought over, and she seems to get more into the atmosphere, into just getting herself in the gate, on her toes, showing great energy. So, while I'm not in love with her getting to this distance, I do like the way she's come along. Now, going back to number 1, By Self, as Rick Violet was saying, sometimes I do kind of don't like to watch By Self the way she travels. I mean, she does. She pounds the ground, as he was saying. And if this course was labeled as it was before, in that, you know, well, I'll say it is yielding, but it's a lot more dry than it was yesterday. I'd be a lot more concerned about her if we had the same course that we did yesterday. Still not firm. If it was firm, I'd be a little bit more braver in recommending By Self here, but we'll see how she does. We'll see if her stride is a bit better on this turf course, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thanks. And yeah, for Goodbye Broccoli, the favorite, now 8-5. She won. Granted, it was a 1-turn mile and a 16th at Belmont, but a turf course that was labeled good, so she should like it, you would think. Although no 2 the same.
No 2 the same. And with the time we saw earlier, I would say not yielding, like was, you know, in the middle, probably good. But yeah, we'll see what happens. You're right. No 2 the same, and we'll see what happens with the 1 and the 5. Which one of them, or if neither of them takes the turf.
They're 2 different courses, I agree, and it's very clear. I mean, these courses have dried quickly. That time that we saw for Ticonderoga and the Mellon suggests this course is at worst good and sort of on the firm side of good. Now, this course could be much, much less so, but I don't think it's going to be yielding. We'll see what the time is, but I do agree with the sentiment Maggie was having about the 1. I think if you want to get this kind of horse, and maybe, Gabby, you disagree, you want a firmer course.
Yeah, that kind of helps them carry their speed a little bit longer, and not only that, there's fitness that comes into play with a sprinter that's stretching out to 2 turns on a softer going on the grass. So, yeah, there are a lot of things that By Self has to prove today.
Can By Self, the 1, take to the turf here in her first start on the new surface? We're going to find out for trainer Rick Violet. Let's send it upstairs. Our feature race, the Statue of Liberty division of the New York Stallion Series. Here's Larry Colmus with the call.
And here's Crashing Connie moving into the starting gate. Steps forward and in. We get the monies. Moving into line, and last in will be Barrel of Destiny, who will take position in the outside stall. Coming forward and in. Creasy a little restless, and so too on her inside Goodbye Broccoli. Settling them down here. Creasy still restless in the gate. Rider is off of Creasy, who's been backed out.
Rider off here. That's Jose Ortiz, who jumped off Creasy. Both Creasy, the 3, and Goodbye Broccoli, the 2, a little agitated there in the gate.
Yeah, what ends up happening is there a little chain reaction. The 2 sort of reared up, and then the 3 sort of reared up. Now, the state vet's going to take a look, make sure that Creasy didn't bang her head. They're going to take a look at everything. The utmost importance is the equine health, and they said, okay, let's put her back in. Let's get her going. Take 2.
So Jose Ortiz quickly hops back aboard. They load her in without incident, and we're set to go. Let's try again. Here's Larry Colmus.
They're off in the New York Stallion Series Statue of Liberty division. And Crashing Connie comes out well with By Self on the inside. Flashing early speed and Miss Jen between those 2. Goodbye Broccoli will sit fourth behind this leading trio as they head for that turn. And then it's back to We Gets the Monies, followed by Creasy on the inside and Barrel of Destiny at the back. By Self gets to the lead now. By Self on top, but still pressure from Miss Jen and a 3-wide Crashing Connie, who now grabs second onto the backstretch as Goodbye Broccoli is extricated from the rail and taken outside to sit 2.5 lengths off the lead after a 25.01 first quarter mile. Creasy is in behind them, racing 3 lengths from the front in a tight pack, and then We Gets to Monies and the trailer Barrel of Destiny. Continuing up the backstretch, By Self in front by just ahead here. Crashing Connie alongside. Goodbye Broccoli outside of them. Miss Jen fourth on the inside. Creasy, We Gets to Monies, just 3.5 lengths off the lead. The trailer is Barrel of Destiny. 50.98 was the half mile as they race for the far turn. With By Self the leader by just a half a length. Crashing Connie on the outside second. Goodbye Broccoli just outside the top 2, running in third. Miss Jen fourth on the inside. And then We Gets to Monies 3 wide. Creasy between those 2. And Barrel of Destiny, they're into the stretch. By Self trying to hold off the competition. Crashing Connie still right next to her. Creasy is in behind them. Miss Jen is down on the inside. Goodbye Broccoli is there with We Gets to Monies. Then Barrel of Destiny. Here comes We Gets to Monies and Broccoli. By Self. And on the inside, Crashing Connie, it's We Gets to Monies and Goodbye Broccoli. These 2 bobbing heads down to the line. Either one, Goodbye Broccoli or We Gets to Monies. They were bobbing heads at the finish, and then it was Creasy and Barrel of Destiny in 1:39.25.
Dead tight finish. We have a photo in our feature between the 2. Goodbye Broccoli, the favorite. The 6, We Gets the Monies.
Wow, it's getting to be a common theme here that they're hitting the wire together, and we have no idea who's going to win this race. I guess I have to wait for the 3rd member of our team to talk, Paul, because he can call the photos. But Gabby, this was a terrific horse race between 2 very nice fillies. The number 2 in here wide the entire way. Goodbye Broccoli, and the 6, We Gets the Money. Who won it?
She was very wide, too, herself. Both of these fillies were very wide the entirety. The 6, We Gets the Money, definitely her head comes down just as the 2's head's going up. What do you think, Paul?
Well, I hate to say it if you have the 6. I think the 2 gets her. This race is either the 2 or dead heat.
Paul with the odd call. We thought the 6 got it, Paul. You rarely get a photo wrong.
Well, here's the deal. The 6 gets the bob, right? But it might have been right past the tape. It always depends. But I think this race is either 2-6 or it's a dead heat. The 2 got the better of the bob, though. I mean, the 6 got the better of the bob. But I tell you what, 2 ran a heck of a race. And it just shows you, we were talking about who got the distance. The 2 looked dead at the top of the lane, but getting that distance helped her out at the end.
I agree. You know, it's interesting. You talk about the distance, and I clearly agree. The 2 and 6 are ones that held the distance. I would also say, and there it is, the 2. Paul, you're the greatest.
I bow down to
you're
you.
unbelievable.
I mean, that's unreal.
And she got the distance, but also the turf ability kicked in. You know, the one horse By Self seemed to be running well. The pace was very moderate. But when the real running was done, By Self's not a turf horse.
Just looking at, again, looking at the photo finish here, but looking at Phil Serpy's reaction, I don't even think he thought he got it.
I think he thought he lost.
Yeah.
You would think I hit 98-mile-an-hour fastballs for a living.
Paul, I got to tell you, Gabby and I both thought the 6 got it. That was a great call. And, you know, if you could have called Phil Serpy, he would have felt a lot better.
Goodbye Broccoli, the favorite, gets the job done and got a great test here for We Gets the Monies. Both these 2 fillies ran sensational in here. Creasy winds up 3rd. Barrel of Destiny, the maiden, winds up 4th in here. But Phil Serpy, had to sweat that one out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sigh of relief, 9-5. Gets the job done in our feature race here by a whisker.
Yeah, he did. No, she did. It was a good job by Louis Saez. Like I said, it really looked like the 2 was just not going anywhere, but those distance races paid off. Tough beat for the 6, We Gets the Monies. That filly by the funny bone ran her heart out.
Second win today for that young man, Luis Saez, as he takes the feature. Back with prices right after this.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb was the leading freshman sales sire of weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including stakes winners Autumn Warrior and Orvolution, stakes performer Scrapper, and TDN Rising Star Explorer. In the sales ring, his progeny continue to sell well beyond his stud fee, including the $1 million co-sale topper at Saratoga, Classic Winner, Classic Pedigree, Orb, standing at Claiborne Farm.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Back on Saratoga Live and our feature in the books. This is how close it was. A fraction of a second past this picture right here. It was a 6-horse. We gets the monies in front, but when it mattered at the wire, Goodbye Broccoli got the money.
Yeah, she did. And you can see Creasy on the inside, the 3 is just really not getting really much time to run. But when she has to quicken, would she have quickened up enough? I don't think so to go on with these 2, but it turns into a bob of the noses here late, and the 6 did get the bob. It just
Horse racing is a tough game, isn't it? Goodbye Broccoli, $5.60 for the win. 3 wins now in 7 career starts. It's been win, loss, win, loss, win for Goodbye Broccoli.
She's an in and outer, but the blinkers have completely helped, right?
Yeah,
and there's
no question.
If you like your chalk, you're good to go.
Chalk players having their day. It always comes along, doesn't it? Naira Betts late pick 5, 107,000 plus the pool. We still got 1 leg left to go. We'll set the stage for that when we return here on Saratoga Live. Welcome to Saratoga Live. Those just joining us on Fox Sports 2, great to have you with us. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Hey, that's where we sit. Hi. Just across from the Stewarts. I don't know if you can see us. See all those lights up there? That's us. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, LA Dodger, Paul LaDuca. We just ran our feature race here, and it was a photo finish. Goodbye Broccoli getting the win by the narrowest of margins. Still have our nightcap to come, though. A lot of horses taken out, a lot of scratches here in this last race. Still an intriguing race, though. Mama Mary, the 7, that was a horse and a filly that we saw run back on July 23rd here at Saratoga, making an equipment change today.
Yeah, ran over a sloppy racetrack. Is now going to take the blinkers off. And, you know, she's been bet heavily in both of her starts, but has not delivered. And she should be heavy favorite here today with all the scratches. Right now she's 4-5, but can you trust her?
It's Fabulous Phillies Day this afternoon, so all pink all the time here at the racetrack. We're going to wrap up our feature. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
I'm very pleased to be joined by one part of Hilly Fields Farm and Tony Smith. And Tony, this filly, Goodbye Broccoli, I should say, the dam has been absolutely tremendous for you guys.
Marvelous. She's been absolutely marvelous. And, you know, it was really by luck.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to go into breeding, and we had Lady Will Court, who was good, but not great. And then with Phil's help, you know, we've just been so lucky, you know, with Cosmonaut, and it's been great.
Now,
I mean, look at how brave is she? I mean,
incredibly. I mean, we're going down the lane and going back to the race. Didn't look as though she was going anywhere at the 8th pole. Then all of a sudden she kicks it in and does battle down to the line for a very close photo.
Well, do you think it was close? Close-ish, yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, that was wonderful. Yeah.
Well, talk about her name as well.
Well, Goodbye Broccoli. I was brought up in, I call it Southeast London. That's the way the Cockneys say, Southeast London. And in Brockley, which is a small part of London. And I went back there about 5 years ago, and I said, you know what? I'm never going to come back here, ever. So why don't we call a horse Goodbye Broccoli? And so it reminds me of growing up at the same time of remembering it. And of course, now, people think it's broccoli, the vegetable. And so I said, oh, too bad. That's too bad.
It's funny, my husband, being English as well, has named some horses after places in England too, but also, this family is just so productive, as we were saying. Lady Joan in tomorrow.
Lady Joan in tomorrow, yeah. And that's interesting because we've always thought she might go a distance, and it's a mile and 3/8, and we're interesting to see how she does, because I think she might do it well tomorrow.
Well, we're excited to see her.
To have today and tomorrow. Talk to you tomorrow as well.
Let's plan on it. Let's make a date here, Tony. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys, Tony's awesome. I love the accent, too. I can never get away from it.
Well, Lady Joan, yeah, we're going to see tomorrow on our show in that marathon mile and 3/8 race. She's going to bring some speed to that party with an outside post.
It's always good to find the origin behind the name, but Goodbye Broccoli gets the job done here. The daughter of Cosmonaut, the Powers Court mare, Ladywell. Powers Court had to run into the Mighty Kitten's Joy for a year. Hillyfield Stable gets the job done.
So our feature in the books and a photo finish in this Statue of Liberty division and a thrilling finish, Andy, but Goodbye Broccoli, definitely she does not want to lose, does she?
No, she's a terrific filly, and that was a nice running by both of those horses, really. A race that, as a fan, sort of no loser. Obviously, the connections feel the way. Sure. Same way. We talk a lot about off-the-turf races potentially providing value, and one of the reasons is because sometimes they just bet the wrong horses or they miss certain things. And we had a big debate in the show previously about Mama Mary, who's in again with Frank Miramotti, who loved her last time. Now, granted, today's a different scenario. Track's drier. She could be the controlling speed here. She is an overwhelming favorite, the 7 Mama Mary. I mean, an overwhelming favorite. Look at all the multi-race bets. She's 4-5 now. She could be even lower. Gabby, I know it's the races. There's wild cards, the other horses. I think she's a terrible gamble at this shorter price.
She's been short prices in her last 2 starts, her only 2 starts of her career. And to me, she's a better suited turf sprinter. And if she was going to win, she was going to win first time out. Today at 4-5 is not necessarily the day you want her.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not saying she can't win. She may be able to wire the field, but there's a lot of unknowns here, and she's just a terrible gamble. And any multi-race bet you look at, she's an overwhelming favorite. We want to talk about a horse that we're not going to bet here, and that's the 10 Carrera Cat. In her last race, you're going to see Regime Mirage's leg fall out of the irons. And it's very rare that the chart callers in New York, who do an absolutely sensational job, miss something as important as that. And they did in this case. So I don't want to bet Carrera Cat in the dirt,
That's
Gabby.
an incredible amount of athleticism for Regime, who's in an all-out drive to put his foot back in the iron.
Amazing. I mean, you could watch it again here. It really is incredible what he does. And what we really are trying to show you is that her last race, where she finished well behind a horse who's scratched in this race, the one Dreamers and Me, it's a real throwout. She might well have finished second and run very well in that race, but she lost all chance because of the lost iron, and it's missed in the chart. So the average person might look at it and say, she didn't run well at all last time, when in fact she has a major excuse. We don't like her today, but having a bad performance today, back on the turf next time, more dirtied up, and then we get the cash. How's that work out?
I think that sounds like a good plan. But today, you know, that race is good to look at and for the future, but it's irrelevant for today.
Yeah, it is really irrelevant for today. But on the other hand, sometimes we like to think about the future, and that's what horse racing's all about. A little bit earlier today, Maggie got to catch up with a special guest, Abe Madcore, as we go to Maggie.
Here with Abe Madcore, executive editor of the Sports Business Journal. And Abe, what brings you out to Saratoga today?
Well, it's a beautiful day, and I'm here celebrating my parents' 60th wedding anniversary, and I've been a big fan of Chris Kay and everything they're doing at NYRA, so I really wanted to see the fan experience in person.
And you rewarded NYRA in doing so in 2015 with the sports event of the year.
It was an amazing night for NYRA because they were up against such big events like Super Bowl 50, Mayweather-Pacquiao, the FIFA's Women's World Cup, and the Belmont Stakes that year, where American Pharoah, of course, won the Triple Crown. And the way they were able to produce such a historic event seamlessly really wowed the judges, and they awarded them the Sports Business Awards. And I remember, Maggie, the room of 1,000 people really were just shocked by that upset, and it was well-deserved.
Abe, I was bawling. The strangers were hugging each other. It was quite the experience. And talking about experiences, we've kind of taken it up a level here at Saratoga with the introduction of the stretch.
The stretch is what is a very cool concept, and we're seeing that across sports, Maggie, where properties, leagues, events are trying to really be relevant to all types of fans, whether you're a fan who just wants to come for a couple of races and chill out and dress casual and have a couple drinks, or there are experiences where people want a premium experience, more high-end, and there are also areas for kids. So all events are trying to really diversify their offerings, and they're really doing it at NYRA, Saratoga Springs, Belmont as well.
Well, to elaborate on Belmont, now we have this partnership with the Islanders. I mean, talk about those big plans that look to be in our near future.
I would say if anybody's looking at sports development, that is one of the biggest sports developments to watch in the future, because you're doing an arena with, of course, expanding Belmont. You're going to make it a huge mixed-use development where there'll be a lot to do between eating, shopping, experiences, and, of course, sports. And that's the trend. They want people to come, stay all day, and have all types of different experiences. I think it's one of the most exciting projects in sports.
I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to catch some hockey games as well. Abe, thank you so much for joining us.
Great being with you, Maggie.
A lot going on with New York Racing Association. Yeah, it's going to be huge at Belmont with the Islanders moving in. A lot changing in the sports industry in general as well. With wagering.
Yes, true.
A lot happening.
A lot happening.
Take a look at our Saratoga Showdown free online contests. Still have one race to go. We got a two-way tie at the top, but just about everybody on the board here involved. If there's an upset here, we'll see what happens. You can play this contest for free each and every day. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. You're playing for NYRA Bets points and real prizes like a prize pack to next year's Belmont Stakes in 2019. We're going to take a break in the action. Our finale here on this Thursday afternoon still to come, and that right there, Mama Mary, the filly to beat here coming up. She's the 4-5 favorite on the board. Making an equipment change. The blinkers, they're coming off today. Can she get to the lead, and can she keep on going? We'll find out next.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The three of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
welcome back to Saratoga Live here in the paddock for today's 9th race. I'm Maggie Wolfendale, and we'll be bringing you this paddock report brought to you by Hill and Dale Farms. And look, this is Mama Mary's time to shine. By the look of her on paper relative to this field, and by the looks of her here in the paddock relative to this field, I'd be surprised if she is upset here. But there are some other interesting options to take a look at, and one of them is to her outside and second-time starter number 8, St. Edmund's Girl. Now, she is a daughter of Freud, but Freud's can be pretty versatile. They have a little more of an affinity for the turf, but here on the main track, it's not as if she's overly turf meant in her physicality. And two, with Kendra Carmucha aboard, I'm wondering if this girl has a little bit more speed as well, just because it's second time out, and, you know, Kendrick knows how to be aggressive. Now, she's not necessarily giving me that impression as far as the way she's acting. She's still pretty laid back here in the paddock, but she is that much more fit. She does look stronger behind the saddle, which is key for horses trying to get out of the gate. Now, coming back off of a near 2-year layoff is the 6-year-old mare in Dorothy's Dream, number 9. And she is, the second time in a row with that near 2-year gap, is on the main track. Now, she really does look like a turf horse, but she did run okay enough in the context of who she faces here today on the main track to say that she deserves a look. Now, as far as fitness, as Jorge Abreu takes over training here, she looks as though he's got her as fit as he possibly can. And she's nice and calm here as well in the paddock. She's not nervous, which is something good to look at. It's not as if she's gotten hot either. So she's an interesting proposition here. Andy, are you looking elsewhere away from Mama Mary here?
Absolutely. Mama Mary may well win this race, but she's not supposed to get the lead from Mama White Sox inside of her, at least that easily. And there's absolutely nothing to confirm that she's a dirt horse. I understand she got a sloppy track last time. I understand she dueled with the winner of that race, but we've been through it. She's a horrendous short price in this race, and in a race where you're guessing, we're going to at least guess with prices, Gabby and I. Different prices, but prices nonetheless. The 9 Dorothy's Dream, I just love a 6-year-old that hasn't run in almost 2 years. I mean, what could be a better gamble than that?
So enticing.
And that's Dorothy's Dream's case. And I'm being facetious. It's not a great gamble. But she does get an interesting trainer switch to Jorge Abreu, the ex-assistant to Chad Brown. She's having a terrific meet with 3 winners so far. And I think this is a horse that always took money in all of her starts. She could be interesting in here. And she's my flyer as I try to beat the favorite, Mama Mary.
For a stable who doesn't have, you know, the amount of stock as, say, Todd Pletcher, Chad Brown, Steve Asmussen, Jorge Abreu has been doing a phenomenal job with what he has so far at the meet. And one thing that I've noticed is that he's been spotting them appropriately. So why wouldn't that be the case with this filly, or this mare, I should say, once again?
We missed your top choice, the 6 St. Edmund's Girl, but we'll talk about her when we get a little bit of a chance. The 6-horse Mama's White Sox, I mean, you could argue she's the most proven dirt horse in the race. I don't think she's that good, but she's the speed inside of this. Why can't she wire the field, Gabby?
I don't know if proven is the right term because she hasn't broken her maiden yet. But, yes, she does showcase a lot of early speed. Well, no other horse has really been on the dirt. But anyway,
that was why I said she has the most proven dirt form.
She could show speed today. She's obviously very quick. But a lot of the time we see, you know, talent catch up to these types of speed sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not running the window bet Mama's White Sox, but I'd rather bet her at 5-1 than bet Mama Mary at even money, Greg.
Well, look, no one wants to take even money in a race, but it looks like today might be the day for her.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. You know, it's hard really to tell. I've been favorite both times. One time sprinting, and the next time caught a sloppy racetrack. Joe Sharp's horses have been running, and then runs into a field that maybe she can handle here. The 9's an interesting horse. The horse been off for a couple years because that horse got bet first time out in a low-profile barn here at Saratoga. So I would think the clocker saw her work on the dirt. So I know she's 6, but she's intriguing.
Called a post there from Sam the Bugler. All decked out in pink here on Fabulous Phillies Day. It's very serious this afternoon.
Maybe he's got his White Sox on.
So you've made the case, Andy's made the case for a 6-year-old mare who's coming off, and there she is, just about a 2-year layoff.
Yes.
And tell me this. we'll get to, I guess we'll get to it after the post break. Let's start with the Finger Lakes runner, and this horse has speed. 2 races at Finger Lakes, was on the lead in both, and this will be start number 5.
To be honest with you, this is the horse to beat. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
She's got 3 second-place finishes. I know it was at Finger Lakes, but she's got 3 second-place finishes by a total of maybe a head.
And her Tampa race might be the best race of anybody on dirt in the entire field. The 7, Mama Mary. Short price for a barn that's done very little wrong at this meet, Joe Sharp.
Absolutely. Joe Sharp, everything he sends out has been running, but even money is tough to take on any runner in this field.
St. Edmund's Girl, sent out by Robert Reed. 5th beat 10 lengths. First time out, that was sprinting on the turf.
Yeah, she was 5th out of 6 that day. She got sort of eliminated at the start. Yeah, I don't really know what you're getting here. You are getting an aggressive rider, though.
Dorothy's Dream. Here's the 6-year-old mare. Has been off for almost 2 years in a new barn now with Jorge Abreu.
And she was originally supposed to run on the turf, so the fact that she stays in off of this substantial layoff, I think, is a positive sign.
John Morrison trains the 10. Here's Carrera Cat. Rajiv Mirage in the iron, 6-1.
Well, they've tried blinkers the last 2 times, and she sort of stayed the same. So maybe the dirt will change her around. We'll see today.
And a 5-year-old here on the outside. Magical Romance. Jose Lezcano aboard. Has had only 1 career start. It was on the turf back in July.
Yeah, hard to back a 5-year-old mare that has only had 1 career start. This 5-year-old mare by Magical Forest.
That's your field. We're 6 minutes away here from our finale coming up on this Thursday afternoon as you take a look at Man of War Way. One of the things I love most about Saratoga, seeing the horses come back off the track here. Naira Betts, late pick 5. You got to get involved, and the only way to play it if you do not reside in the state of New York is by getting signed up and started with Naira Betts. We've seen some monster payouts today. We're not going to see a monster payout. It's been very, very chalky this afternoon. But for the most part, it has been an incredible wager to go after.
Yeah, it really has been. Today, the chalky players are going to get rewarded. You don't have to play that big of a ticket, and maybe you can hopefully hit it today as we look at the 8 St. Edmund's Girl. And she continues to get bet down to 3-1. I know there's scratches here, and I get a different surface, but maybe her works at Parks, that last work at 48-2 is pretty good. And I mean, listen, she comes back over here and lands in a field where, let's say, not that stellar. So they got to bet on somebody, and she's getting bet here at 3-1.
Steady work pattern, as you mentioned, at Parks. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale for more. Excuse me, Gabby Gaudet has more on the 8.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Greg. Well, this is my top pick here. You know, I wanted to just go with an odd horse to try to beat the 7 at 6-5. And she does have a pedigree to suggest that she should be able to handle the main track today. And if you went back and watched the race, she did experience a little bit of early trouble in that she lost maybe a length or 2 from the start. So Maggie kind of mentioned it earlier. Now Kendrick's in the saddle, who is really an asset to a horse who is kind of slow to get out of the gate. So if she can break a little bit quicker, I thought that could help her. But Paul, you were mentioning her workouts. She actually hasn't worked since her race on the 11th of July, which might be a little bit concerning.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm wondering, okay, what's the deal? Why are they coming here? Are they trying to hide anything? No, I wouldn't think so. Maybe they're saying that she's fit already. Robert's already won a race at this meet. He's proven before. He won the Breeders' Cup Marathon when it was actually a race. He's a proven trainer. But Gabby brings up an interesting point. Like, you want to try to get a work to the horse afterwards, but obviously he must think the horse is fit enough to get the dirt today, and maybe against this field.
July 3rd, the last work, ran July 11th, and then nothing since that we see on the page. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale for more now.
And guys, just want to kind of circle back around to the same 2 horses I talked about in the paddock. In number 8, St. Edmund's Girl, as we were talking about, Gabby was just saying too, you know, she was quiet, but once Kendrick Carmouche got aboard, she livened up quite a lot. She kind of got on her toes. She kind of puffed up, which I love to see with horses once they kind of get into race mode. And she is taking quite a bit of money here. She's your current 2nd choice. Now, number 9 is Dorothy's Dream, off of that extended layoff. And Manny Franco did give her a warm-up by herself. She is moving quite nicely out in the track. So with that being said, I think she's ready, if you will. It's just a talent issue with her, especially on this surface. So we'll see what shakes out here with these 2 horses, as they're kind of the other 2, Greg, in the face of Mama Mary.
And so Dorothy's Dream, as we look at her here, like she's been a long time since she's been off. We've talked about it a lot. But she does have a race that was taken off the turf, and she ran on dirt. She's got to improve off that. I don't think if she runs back to that, that's good enough to win here.
Probably right. Probably right. I mean, I don't know. Every one of these horses have about the same race, don't they? Don't they look like they all could be the same at the wire? I could see, let's see where there's all 6 of them at the wire. Or I could see somebody just cutting loose here and then be gone. This race is so tough to figure out.
Andy, in a race like this, too, could sometimes, we maybe don't have a ton of talent here in terms of dirt runners. So if someone can get to the front, get some separation, could that kind of break the will of the rest of this group?
Perhaps. I think that's a reasonable question, Greg. And these kind of races are usually strung out across the track, a long way from first to last. Because in all likelihood, a couple of these horses won't handle the dirt at all. And I think that's why a horse like Mama White Sox is so dangerous. I mean, think of the last race that Mama Mary was in. Now, granted, it was a sloppy track, and there were reasons to think the horse who won could be a dirt runner. The horse has been bet in its debut. Mama White Sox sort of shows her speed. Mama Mary gets sort of disinterested or discouraged from chasing outside of her, and they turn for home. Mama White Sox finds herself 4 in front, and Gabby's horse, St. Edmund's Girl, my horse, Dorothy's Dream, Carrera Cat. These horses aren't handling it. One of them, 2 of them aren't, and the race just sort of falls apart.
That's definitely a possible scenario, but it is a short field, and sometimes we see these horses kind of bunch up and get a little bit more compact. But Andy, to talk about Dorothy's Dream just a little bit, a lot of the time we see these horses come off of these extended layoffs and they scratch either because the turf comes up soft or they're not, she was intended to run on the turf. She's now running on the dirt. Don't you think that is encouraging that Jorge Abreu does actually keep her in a race like this? Because it seems that she's doing well and she's doing well.
It's encouraging, but the other answer could be, well, she hasn't run in so long that she kind of needs a race. We'll give her a race in the dirt. We'll take a gamble. It's an easy, small field. And let's be honest, guys, the purse is $75,000.
Yeah.
The winner of this race is going to get $45,000 and probably get a buyer figure of around 53. They may never turf or dirt have a better chance. So the reality is, right, it might be being generous. So why not take a gamble in here? And I think more people should have stayed in here. I mean, the firster Ed S. Queen, the 4, was she really going to be a bigger price in this race on the turf? Take a shot, right, guys? Isn't that what the game's all about? A little bit of gamble?
Well, especially when 5 horses scratch you in this group, the rest of this, well, you got to figure, we're going to stay in here and try and get a piece of this.
4th is $4,000.
That should be the bet.
4th could be a 22 buyer.
The bet should be who's going to, if the buyer's figure is going to be larger than the purse money winner.
I like that, Paul. I'm going to take over 51. I'm going to set it at 51.5. What do you guys want?
I think it'll go over 51.5. I think 53 is going to be the buyer.
I'll go under.
Gabby wants
I'll go
under. Because she went under 53, Paul. She's got to go under 51.5.
I want dinner paid for. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Gabby, when's the last time you paid for dinner, Gabby? Come on.
It's been a while.
There's Mama Mary. We could have a Mama Exacta as well. Mama Mary, the 7. Mama White Sox, the 6. The 6 we know is quick. The 7 would like to be forwardly placed probably as well. But I don't know if the 7 has to have the lead.
I don't think so. I mean, even if the 6 goes to the front end. But like I said before, if a horse that gets to the lead here could be tough to catch.
Here we go. How will it play out? Our finale on this Thursday afternoon here on Saratoga Live. Let's send it upstairs to Larry Colmus for the call.
They're all in line. They're off, and taking up at the break was St. Edmund's Girl. Mama White Sox and Mama Mary go out to the front together. And then it's Carrera Cat, Dorothy's Dream, St. Edmund's Girl trying to recover from that start. And the trailer is Magical Romance as Mama Mary sticks a neck in front of Mama White Sox. As the field races for the far turn, Mama Mary gets away, opens up a length. Mama White Sox is running in second. And then it's Carrera Cat third on the outside. Dorothy's Dream is 4th, racing 4.5 lengths off the lead. And then it's St. Edmund's Girl, Magical Romance, 21.93 was a sharp first fraction here as the leader, Mama Mary, has some competition coming on the outside from Carrera Cat. Mama White Sox splits horses and is right in the race too, and they're into the stretch. Mama Mary, Mama White Sox, these two now with Carrera Cat drifting out third on the outside. It is Mama White Sox in front as they come down to the 16th pole. Mama Mary on the inside gives way. Carrera Cat's trying to close in. Mama White Sox has it down to the wire. Mama Mary, and then Carrera Cat with the late bid. It's Mama White Sox. Carrera Cat got second, Mama Mary was third, and Dorothy's Dream was fourth at 104.79.
Well, the filly with the most proven dirt form in the field, granted most of it came at Finger Lakes, gets the job done. Mama White Sox for Sal Iorio Jr. with Dylan Davis.
Yeah, and it's just, listen, when you look at the racing form, I get it. We were talking about this before. The horse that had the best resume on dirt by far was Mama White Sox.
This horse actually ran a pretty courageous race because Dylan Davis, her rider, was really scrubbing on her in the early stages of the race, trying to keep up with the 7 Mama Mary. And in turn, she actually took back and went around her in the end.
Today's been the 18th day of the meet, and it feels like that move, abdicating the lead from the inside and coming back and going around, has won about 8 races at the meet. And Carrera Cat ends up finishing second here, and somewhere Frank Miramati is crying as Mama Mary finishes third at 4-5.
Now let's go back to the start here. Keep our eyes on the favorite, and stumbled a little bit here, but it didn't seem to hamper her too much.
It wasn't compromised at all because the 8 didn't break, so she sort of just shifted into the 8 slot. She was able to look. She put away the 6 early. The 6 was able to get outside of her and then put her away. And like Andy was saying, Carrera Cat had every chance in the middle of the racetrack to go by, but Mama White Sox got the job done. It just shows you, as you see why she's called Mama White Sox. Look at those 2 front feet. It just shows you, again, it doesn't matter. I always tell people, like, oh, this guy hit 380 in AAA. I don't care if you hit 380 in AAA, AA, you're still hitting 380. And if you keep running second at Finger Lakes, sooner or later when you're going to run into a field, Andy, that you can beat, and this was the field.
As we said before the race, it may have been sort of ridiculous because only 3 had tried the grass, but the 6 Mama White Sox had the best proven dirt form in the field, and she was 6-1. She wasn't even money or 6-5. She was 6-1. I didn't like this horse particularly, but I'm not going to argue that she was a very strong price here, and that's what we were talking about. Throw out Mama Mary, fool around in here, and maybe a hit.
So what do we think the buyer speed figure came up?
Very low. Very low.
Am I going to get dinner?
You always get dinner. Paul, she gets everything. She's already begging for dinner, Paul.
I know,
and she doesn't
right?
even know if she won the bet. And she's not even going to pay if she lost. And she's here begging for dinner. You should have a sign in front of you. We'll grovel for food.
6-1 on Mama White Sox. Just come out with Paul. He'll take care of you anyway.
Exactly. Picks up every check.
Andy, not the case. No, I'm kidding.
I pick up every.
I'm
kidding me? I'm hurt.
5th career start. Mama White Sox coming in from Finger Lakes, gets the job done. You know, and it's not just this horse finding a field, and that was part of it, certainly, finding a field where there weren't a lot of dirt runners near. But we see horses all the time at this meet come in from Finger Lakes, and they're competitive here.
No, they are. And I think they get dismissed a lot. I was actually, you know what's funny is I'm running by Rudy Rodriguez this morning. I always feel like I'm running into Rudy, and he runs a lot of his horses at Finger Lakes. He goes, they get dismissed so much.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example. This horse, if this horse wasn't coming from any other racetrack or had been coming from Monmouth, you're not going to get 6-1. And you don't see Sal Iorio a lot in your program as the trainer coming down here in Saratoga. Other part of this, but Dylan Davis, they get the job done with Mama White Sox. And you know what? To get $162 back on that Naira late pick 5 is pretty darn good considering
pick
you
4
got
was 47.
Nothing. You got nothing. And here's the thing. Potomac was even money on the morning line. Even though he was an overlay a little bit, people that played this early singled him a lot.
Naira bets, late pick 5 follow along, $162 on through the first 4 races anyway, complete chalk fest. And then you finally get a 6-1 shot there in the last with Mama White Sox. And connections of this 3-year-old filly by Courageous Cat. Going to be celebrating tonight with this victory here to close things out on this Thursday afternoon. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And here with trainer Sal Iorio, who's brought down Mama White Sox to get the job done here. Sal, were you more encouraged to see this race off the turf than on?
Well, I'll be honest, it didn't disappoint me to see 5 scratches. So, and I know she loves the dirt, and I was hoping that she liked the turf, but not having run on it, it was nice to see her on the dirt. We know she's fast there. So, yes, I was happy to see it off.
And also, talk about her trip a little bit. The favorite kind of going after you. Dylan then took back, but she came with a late run. It was quite impressive.
Yes, very impressive. Great ride by Dylan. He was smart. He let that horse go and didn't try to chase her and use her up. And it looked like she preferred that a little bit, getting a little breather and having something to run at. Because she had a lot of finish today. She didn't hang at the end.
She did. It was nice to see. And too, Sal, will you be bringing any other horses down here to Saratoga?
I hope so, yes. Especially her.
Oh, she'll be back.
I believe so, yes. Thank you. Talk to the owner's Rip and see what he'd like to do.
Certainly liked it here at the spa. Sal, congratulations on capturing the nightcap.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, guys. Mama White Sox in the nightcap.
And yeah, we're going to see her again. I love that. Old First Ward Stable, the owners of this 3-year-old filly by Courageous Cat. You won here, and granted, things worked out for you a little bit to get a field kind of to your liking here with the scratches coming off the turf. But why not wheel right back?
Does not matter. A win is a win. And Bravo 2, who was about in 8th place before, he might have had Mama White Sox because he ends up taking the lead here in the late stages. So good handicapping to him. And no, I'm not related to Daisy Duke.
You can play along every day. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. Put your selections in for the races on our show, and you're competing for real prizes. So good luck, everyone. You can do that each and every day, all summer long of Saratoga Live. We're going to take a break in the action. We are far from done. More coming up on the show. Voodoo Song. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 wins at the Saratoga meet last summer. He's never lost here. He's going to try and rack up another victory in the Fourstardave on Saturday. We'll talk about it next.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Saratoga Live, our show brought to you each and every day in part by champion sprinter Run Happy. There he is in legendary stall number 1 on the farm in Paris, Kentucky at Claiborne. And there is some pedigree to be able to go long in his bloodlines, too.
Well, yeah, his papa won the Kentucky Derby. You forget about that. Son of Super Saver, obviously. And I'm looking forward to it. And to watch some of his sons and daughters run, as is our colleague Tom Amos. He cannot wait. And to hear it from him, I believe it. He's so sharp. So
Spring, summer 2020, you're going to see them at a racetrack near you. But one of the best sprinters we've seen
these hands
in a long, long time. Former catcher right here. You still got it, pal. Horse you're about to meet right now from 1987 to 1994. Won at least one race here at Saratoga each and every summer over that span. Doing that earned him the nickname the Sultan of Saratoga. Here's Gabby Gaudet with a story of Fourstardave.
In the summer of 1987 at Saratoga, Java Gold won the Whitney and subsequently the Travers. A few days later, a chestnut horse named Fourstardave won the Empire Stakes, a race that would begin his rise to stardom.
Fourstardave now gets the lead by a length and a half. Then Econara second by 5. Van Latulip in third. On the outside is De Acuerdo. Fourstardave leads to the wire.
He was just absolutely a lovely horse altogether.
Fourstardave to the wire. Fourstardave has a lead. Fourstardave in front. And Fourstardave ambles home. And it's all Fourstardave.
Fourstardave would go on to win at least one race per year for 8 consecutive years at the Upstate Oval, a feat that inspired the creation of a nickname, the Sultan of Saratoga.
One of the most intelligent horses I've ever been around. He actually even knew the sound of my car when I was coming into the barn. And as soon as I'd roll down the window and I'd driving in, he was the one that was whinnying. And he was very, very intelligent.
He concluded his abiding career with 21 wins from 100 starts and over $1.6 million in earnings. His resume, however, was but a part of why he was so admired.
Anything we asked him to do, he would do it.
Leading the post parade, the Sultan of Saratoga, Fourstardave himself.
Fourstardave and his story live on through mementos found throughout the city of Saratoga, including his gravesite located in Clare Court on the backstretch of a racetrack he adored and which adored him.
I'm very happy with what Fourstardave did and the recognition he got because everybody loved him. Naming the bar in Saratoga after him, and that was all done by the people who voted for him. He was a champion for them.
Wow, he was incredible. Trained by Leo O'Brien, and Leo actually said his horse he was almost claustrophobic when he was in the stable, so he cut out a window in the side of his stall so he could take a look at his brother next door, 4 Stars All-Star, and they actually set it up so they could share the same feed bin. When he retired, this town celebrated and partied, and they had Richard Migliore on Fourstardave go into Ciro's restaurant, and they gave him an edible key to the city.
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, listen, he was a staple for 8 years straight here was Fourstardave. That was a great piece. Well done by Gabby as well. And you could tell, like, that's pretty cool that he could recognize Leo's car. Whenever the car would pull up, he'd poke that head out of the stall. It just shows you how intelligent these horses are and how good and how dynamic he really was. And I think a lot of people call horses freaks and call horses really good horses when they run only 1 or 2 years. How come longevity never gets a star, you know? And
8
longevity
straight years
definitely for him, yeah.
Winning a race here at Saratoga, and that's what made him one of the most popular horses of all time right here at the spa. And you could just always count on him getting the job done every summer that he lined up here. And the race named in his honor coming up this weekend. And Yoshida, Heart to Heart, Voodoo Song, Divisadero, Delta Prince, very tough field lining up in here as we take a look at Voodoo Song, who's never lost on the turf course at Saratoga, went 4 for 4 last summer here.
Yeah, this was in the Saranac last year. Usually, listen, this is a horse that really loves to be on the engine, but it seems like Lyndon now has gotten him to somewhat be able to rate a little bit. I just don't know if he can rate in this type of field. He's really going to have to keep on improving, but again and again, he keeps proving everybody wrong. He'll prove me wrong if he wins the Four-Star Dave, because I think this will be his toughest test to date. But again, you cannot fall what this horse has done. And horse for course, you know that's big up here, Greg.
It is huge. It means so much in a race named after a horse who was the ultimate horse for course. Fourstardave. Build your bankroll for the Travers Stakes in the Fourstardave. Bet $50 to win on one horse in the race with your NyraBets account, and you'll earn $20 for Travers Day, regardless if your pick wins or not. Head to nyrabets.com for the full bankroll builder schedule. Of course, Bill Mott will have Yoshida in the Fourstardave, just one of many talented runners at this incredible meet, Gabby, that Bill Mott has been having.
Of course, and nothing says Saratoga quite like seeing Bill Mott sit atop his pony in the mornings to watch his horses train. And so far at this particular meet, those horses have been absolutely performing. I got the chance to go over to the Oklahoma backstretch here to get a closer look at some of those performing superstars. Yoshida draws post 7 in this weekend's Fourstardave and will be making his first start since shipping across the pond in the Queen Anne Stakes at Royal Ascot. In terms of the process of going and coming for a race like that, Mott says it isn't that different from taking a trip to California and back.
The flying time really isn't that bad. It's just usually the time that you've got to, from the airport to wherever the training center is. Usually when we ship, you've got a little bit of a van ride either on this end or that end.
He's had time to recover, his works have progressed, and he clocked an easy but spirited half-mile work on Monday to tackle this weekend. Elate made her seasonal debut in the Delaware Handicap last month in a seemingly workmanlike fashion. But Mott says the 9-furlong race has given her a ton of conditioning and has had time since to gain back her weight. She's doing well, she's looking great, full steam ahead to the personal ensign. Hofburg recently won the Curlin Stakes as a prep for the Travers. Reflecting back, Mott believes his effort was strong considering few horses made up ground on the main track that day. What was perplexing to him, though, was his behavior the day of.
When we ran in the Kentucky Derby, it was cool and calm, and in the Belmont, a lot of people in the paddock, a lot of activity, and nothing seemed to bother him. He didn't turn a hair. He seemed like he was, just handled it like a real professional, an old campaigner, and I was a little, confused the other day when I saw him in the paddock that he was a little hot and a little irritated, and he was trying to shove us around a little bit during saddling.
Good Samaritan exits a poor effort in the rain-soaked Whitney. However, Mott does not feel that he was able to put his best foot forward given the muddy conditions and the delay prior to the race.
It was very disappointing when you wait that long for a race and you're training the horse and he's doing well and it's a grade 1 and you don't get that many opportunities to run in a race where you really think you have a chance, and I think when I walked out front and I saw him in the post parade and I saw what the track was like, I thought it was really going to benefit a speed horse rather than a horse like Good Samaritan.
The connections are weighing their options as to whether we'll see him stay on the dirt or go back to the turf. Capla Temptress points to next weekend's Lake Placid after a treble trip in the Belmont Oaks. She's scheduled to put in her final work this coming Monday. Mucho broke his maiden in one of the most impressive performances of the meet last week. Mott initially received this 2-year-old over the winter in Florida, where he seemed a bit of an anxious type, but has since blossomed into an old pro, so to speak.
The gratifying thing is that when you can see them going in the right direction, when they're making progress and they're becoming more professional and bigger and stronger, that's what you like to see, and it's really fun to watch.
Well, you can see from just those 6 horses that we touched on for trainer Bill Mott, he has been having an incredible meet, an incredible year, to be said.
He's a pretty good trainer, that Bill
I'd
Mott.
say.
I'm so old.
He's not in the Hall of Fame for nothing.
Well, I'm so old, I remember him actually winning Saratoga titles. And I'll tell you something, Mucho may be the one, and I like Yoshida. I think he's going to be very tough this weekend. But Mucho, the Claiborne horse, the one of your last weekend, I can't wait to see that horse run. That horse could be a superstar.
And Bill Mott saying that, you know, he first got him down at March at Payson Park in South Florida, and he was a bit of an anxious and nervous horse, and he has just absolutely blossomed and continues to do so. So he looks like a horse with a big future ahead.
Well, you consider the jump he made from his first start to his second start, and it's cool to see Bill Mott with a precocious young horse, guys, and there's so much to look forward to at Saratoga this meet, and thinking of him running in the hopeful towards the end of the meet, but this weekend is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be huge. But yeah, he's got a good 2-year-old. He's got Hofberg, of course, who won the Curlin. We're going to see him in the Travers. 17th time in the last 24 years, I believe. Bill Mott wins on his birthday as well, something we always get used to seeing here at Saratoga. Had 2 wins this year on his birthday.
Yeah, he's just, you know, his horses always pointed towards here, and most of his horses, this is their home track. Like Hofberg, this is like his home stadium, so you're coming into his house, and they're running lights out, and I'm with Andy with Mucho. That could be some kind of horse. I really can't wait to see that horse run again.
Yeah, 2-year-old who could be your favorite for the hopeful here at Saratoga. Arlington Million coming up this weekend. $1.25 million purse. And a look at the field. Chad Brown will send out 3 in the race, and no favors done to Oscar Performance, who set a track record in his comeback effort in the poker at Belmont back on June 17th.
Listen, it was a dynamite effort. It really was. I mean, he cut back to a mile, and it was like, okay, this is what maybe he's always wanted to do, and he showed that dynamic turn of foot. Now, Brian Lynch has been dead honest. I think he's a better miler, but winning the Arlington Million for a stud career is going to make him more valuable. That's just the bottom line, and I just don't see it happening, especially from that post. I just don't see
all
that.
the way on the outside in post 11. Maybe he can overcome it and get it done, but this is a stacked field. And again, we're likely more going to see him probably Breeders' Cup Mile.
Yeah, I would think so.
Arlington Million, one of the premier turf races in the country. And NYRA Bet's giving you your money back if your bet finishes second. Bet $20 to win on one horse in the million. Get $20 back if your horse finishes second. Visit NYRABets.com for all the details. Beverly D. And we're going to see a couple of very talented Chad Brown fillies returning in here in this spot as well, including the rematch between 4-Star Crook and Sister Charlie. Of course, Sister Charlie came back and won the Grade 1 Diana here on opening weekend.
Yeah, this was a gutsy effort by her. She really did not look, Sister Charlie, like she was going to get it done. And in the late stages, she was finally able to ground the victory over Ultra Brat. This is a competitive Beverly D, and Chad Brown doesn't just have her and 4-Star Crook, though. It's a grudge match for them after the New York. I guess they're 1-1 versus each other this year. Those horses and flexibility is improving. She'd have to take a step forward to beat them, but I gotta tell you, Sister Charlie is a good horse, but made it very close there, Gabby.
Yeah, she did. Well, the filly that you actually did, or mare, I should say, that you alluded to was 4-Star Crook, and I am one of her biggest fans. I mean, last time out in the New York, yes, she got the better of Sister Charlie. She also got the better trip than Sister Charlie. I thought it was a heads-up ride by Irad Ortiz to get to moving and honor her a little bit sooner than Sister Charlie. So, yeah, they're going to have to square up once again. But she is so admirable. She has 11 victories out of 17 starts. And I think a lot of the time she's been overlooked because her wins have primarily become against New York breds, but now she's showing her class against open graded stakes company.
I couldn't agree more, and I think she really tipped her hand when she improved going forward last year in the E.P. Taylor on that soft turf. And Chad Brown, he's running away with it so far, guys, having more than 1 win a day at Saratoga.
As expected, I mean, his barn just has so much depth, and he's got so many talented 2-year-olds now, and still a lot to unleash here at this meet, but especially in this female turf division. Tons of talent, and we saw him win with one today.
Yeah, I would say he's got 19 wins right now. He's 1-9 to win the trainer style.
We're going to take a break of the action. Bold prediction there from Paul Azuka. I sit down with a coach.
Jump into that?
82 years old, and he still gets on horseback. Dwayne Lukas, his story coming up after this.
Undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners Taylor Spirit, He Hate Me, and Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have brought prices up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Clayton Farm.
I really have to say I pretty much did it my way, and I was criticized for that early on in my career. I was young and aggressive, had a coaching background, realized that I couldn't coach every player, that my assistants had to help me, so I adapted that same principle to the racehorse industry, and I started interviewing really sharp young guys that were ambitious and eager to make their mark, and then coaching them through our operation, getting them to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak. Thought, you know, our legacy may be as much for turning out top assistants as it would be for all the champions that we had. I mean, people are starting to relate to that. As you get older, they turn and say, well, that guy went through that program, he worked for Wayne, and so forth. And it's really been very gratifying to see that. It wasn't as difficult as you think. Everybody had to have a great work ethic. I worked them right into the dirt. I always tell them, we're only going to work half days. What you do with the other half is up to you. 12 hours. We're going to put in 12 hours, and whatever you do with the other 12 is up to you. So we worked them hard, and we expected a lot from them, and they handled it. Got a little bit of a corporate image. People would say, well, I don't know if he's a horse trainer, but he sure is a good organizer and's got a corporate mentality and an organizer, you know, and a great manager. We got a lot of that. And then these champions started coming along, one right after the other, and I think we overcome that over years. The idea of running at a major racetrack against the best trainers in the world and that competitiveness in me is what drove me in the passion. I enjoyed every big race a little bit more than any of the third races on Wednesday, for example. More than anything. For every stakes winner, every champion of our 26 Eclipse champions, Horse of the Year, none of that stands up to the fact that I can watch Todd Pletcher and Karen and Dallas Stewart and Mike Maker and George Weaver and those guys go over there. And I looked at a stakes race at Saratoga and I thought, oh my gosh, there's 5 of my guys in here and there's only 9 horses. You know, when I say my guys, they'll all have one in there. And for Todd to break all of my records, and which I think he eventually will, there's some of them might stand for a little while, but it's very gratifying. I love it. I love it. I think any of the major stakes, the Travers or the Hopeful or, you know, the Belmont or any of those always stand out. They're the ones where the pictures are still on the wall. I think my Belmonts, the race itself, the Belmont stake is a great memory. I think next year, I think I got a great shot to win it next year. I love my 2-year-olds better than my 3-year-olds right now. I really like my 2-year-olds. And no, I wake up every around February and I realize that I'm going to take another run at it. I really feel I'll win another one, maybe a couple. I'm going pretty good. My stable's smaller, but my quality's pretty good right now.
And we're likely going to see Dwayne Lukas in the Travers. So many good assistants that come out of his program. Mark Hennig, Ron Moquette, Todd Pletcher, of course, Dallas Stewart, George Weaver, and Kieran McLaughlin said, Dwayne Lukas taught me so much, but he did fail at one thing.
Yeah.
Never taught him how to ride a stable pony.
That's pretty funny. That's a pretty good. You talk about sires of sires. That's the sire of sires right there when it comes to trainers.
Yeah, how about that? We're going to see everybody back tomorrow on the show, 4 Eastern to 6:30. It was Goodbye Broccoli in our feature race this afternoon. The New York Stallion Series Statue of Liberty, and that is how close it was. Had to survive a photo finish. But Phil Serpy, Luis Saez, and Hilly Field Stable getting the win in our feature. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.